welcome back to the party, everybody. I am your host, Lunch, aka the Indian Jesus, here to resurrect the second coming of common sense. Everybody hit that like and subscribe. You know I would do it for you. And let's party. Big shout out to the replay gang. Thank you so much for coming back to watch this, even though you missed the live party. Guys, that is the best part. So make sure you're here every Monday, Wednesday, Friday, 8 p.m. Eastern, and sometimes whenever I feel like it. So hit that subscribe, ring the bell, and you will never miss an Indian Jesus live party ever again. If you'd like to support the channel, head on over to theindianjesus.com for your very own official Indian Jesus merch. Got some new designs and new hoodies and stuff coming up soon. We do also have a free Discord server, guys. It is absolutely free to join. We are in there 24/7 hanging out. Great people, great conversations of all walks of life, and it's a great time. You should definitely come and join us. And like I said, it is absolutely free. However, if you sign up as a member of this channel, you can scroll right below the video here and hit that join button. Got a couple different levels, but the this one starts only at $2.99 a month, which gives you not only members only live streams and all that good stuff here on YouTube, but it also gives you full access to the Discord server, which includes our after party. That's right. Every single Monday, Wednesday, Friday stream, as soon as we are done here with all the YouTube censors and everything, we go over there and you are not stuck behind your keyboard. You're actually on screen with me and everybody else. It is a good time. You should definitely come join us. Let's shout out our boy Guam Tech, a member for 11 months. My goodness. Thank you for being here. 11 more. Dilly to that, sir. Thank you. Who else we got? We got our boy Nick Ketty in the building. Welcome. We also got King Nirvana. I think we're gonna get some. Projection tonight. So this was just from today. Mark Cuban was on with Vivek Ramaswamy, who I wish would have been the the Republican candidate. Not that I am disappointed in Trump, but Vivek was my guy, still is. And they have a really interesting conversation. And especially as, you know, the stock market has been in flux, shall we say. I thought it was interesting or important to have a money guy on to see what they're talking about. And so they don't go too, I like this because they don't go too deep into the political side, because Mark Cuban's not really a political guy. He's a money business guy. But they also don't go too deep into the business stuff. They strike a good balance of how the market forces, how the cultural forces come together. And it's a really, really interesting conversation. And I am very glad to share it with you. Who else we got? We got Richard Hardy in the building. Welcome to the party. Do I do OF? I don't know. Become a member and find out. That is the only way. As always, guys, if you can't hear the video, please do let me know.
So we'll talk politics for a second. We got Mark Cuban here, by the way. This is a guy who I've loved this guy from afar. He entertains me because I learn something new when I hear him talk about anything other than politics. Politics, maybe. but I want to get your take on just, you know, some market participant myself. What do you think is going on in the markets right now? And, you know, I want to do the preface, if you don't mind sharing.
If you think you know me, you are definitely wrong.
With the audience too. Your brilliant move when you sold your first company. You're a guy who knows what direction markets are going. You're a macro.
No, I wish I was a guy who knew what direction markets were going.
And again, guys, if you want to watch this without my commentary, I do talk a lot. That's why I started a YouTube channel. The link is in the description below. We got all that. Yeah. All right. Cool.
What direction markets are going? You're a macro.
No, I wish I was a guy who knew what direction markets were going. Right. I just, you know, I tend to be somewhat conservative. Unless it's an industry I really, really know. But, you know, today as we're doing this,
the only time he's conservative.
Obviously, the market's had a rough day. And I think it's a function of the fact that
it's been a
whole rough week. Yeah, for sure. Rough couple weeks. And so
I didn't know that he sold the Mavs.
I think when things are working really, really well, people forget the past. And so they tend to assume, you know, the trend is your friend and it'll just keep on going in that direction. And, you know, and that also leads to people taking on a lot more debt than they otherwise would. You know, things like the Japan, the JPY trade. There's just so many ways where people are like, wait, it always goes up, right? This is just a pullback. We saw that in the late 90s with the internet bubble. And I'm not saying it's a bubble now, but you're seeing that now. And the minute something happens, particularly when there's multiple things that combine to create a problem, then you tend to see a more aggressive pullback.
When did you sell your first company, the tech company?
No, the first company was a company called Micro Solutions. I sold it when I was 29. That was in the 80s. And then we started a company called AudioNet, which turned into broadcast.com. And that was the start of the whole streaming industry. We were the first streaming company.
So I'm going to fast forward a little bit. That's, just giving a little bit of background on, who he is. If you're not familiar, again, the guy from Shark Tank and whatever. They're just talking more about his own personal past. I'm going to skip forward a little bit.
The function, that most, trade 90% a year trading technology stocks, because like you said, when you understand something, like you understand biotech, right? Yeah. And once you understand it, that most people are trading on technicals, on emotion, on, value
fun
proposition.
Life, the fun life running out, whatever it is,
Whatever it may be, right? But when you understand what's happening behind that drug and you understand the possibility of it being approved or not approved, and then the impact and the market for it, you have an edge. And that was the same edge I had. And literally we took my trading success, created a hedge fund and sold it within 9 months for more money. And then
you sold the hedge fund.
Yeah, like in 9 months.
So this is mostly what we skipped, just the stuff. I just wanted you guys to have the context as we move into talking about ESG.
So it was like,
who'd you sell it? Who'd you sell it to?
It was some guy who bought it.
Okay, got it. So it's really interesting what you say. So I don't really talk about my business background as much, but actually it's kind of interesting today. Do you know much about the premise of the biotech company I founded, Roivant, or not?
Yeah, well, you go out, a big company would have some product or some drug.
Hey, look at that. Right live on stream. We've got an update to the IndianJesus.com where you can get all this good stuff. I told you. And you can get all this stuff in all these different sizes, hoodies, long sleeve, all that good stuff only at the IndianJesus.com. Go get you some. Shout out to IndieFilm for getting that done. Thank you, sir. All right. Dive it back in.
Get it approved, or they didn't see the market for it. They spent a ton of money doing all the preliminary work. You would come in and grab it and say, look, I can get this approved for a lot less money than this big company was going to sell. That we get it through the FDA and all the trials, which I can do more cost effectively. And then either I'll market it or I'll license it or sell it to somebody else and make a shitload of money.
And they get a small piece of the action.
Welcome to the American way, right?
Right, exactly. And what's shocking is people don't, like, if you're not in it, you got to think that you'd make this stuff up, which is that a pharma company that's developed this drug and put hundreds of millions of dollars, sometimes many hundreds of millions of dollars in, what will usually happen is they'll have a new CEO. You got to love it when a new CEO comes in for a giant company.
Because it doesn't fit. Yeah, it doesn't fit.
Right.
His
it doesn't
vision,
fit our strategy. Right.
Right.
And all the pharma companies like to do the same things at the same time, because they used to hate cancer back when I became a biotech investor. Now they all love oncology, but they leave the other area, women's health or whatever, behind.
I love cancer.
And so Roivant's whole thing is, okay, it's sitting on your shelf. All right. We'll take it for pennies on the dollar. This is back when I was running the company. We'll take it for pennies on the dollar. But you get a royalty or an equity stake in the drug.
Right, because you're going to mitigate the risk for you, right? Because you were going to have to spend a lot more money. The big company's going to have to spend a lot more money. They're not going to be nearly as effective or as efficient or quick to market as you are.
Right.
You get to be very precise on what you do because it's your only focus. It's not going to be 3% of a $50 billion portfolio. It's everything in your focus, which is is business 101. Yeah. So it was pretty obvious what you were doing, but most people don't have the balls to go out there and do it. So
and so, I'm okay, they're almost in here, but clearly, again, a lot of times we talk about people who are really good in their area. And then because they're so good in that area, they assume that they're good at everything in every area. And so clearly, Mark Cuban knows how to make money. I don't think anybody's questioning whether or not Mark Cuban knows how to make money. But what does he know about politics?
I mean, my only advice would be in biotech, and this is interesting, is if you did it with one drug, then you are just taking massive risk. But my point is this ARB exists across the board.
Yeah, and that's what it is, an ARB, right?
Do a whole portfolio, right?
That's healthcare right now to this day.
It is.
It's just an ARB.
It remains this because it's so regulated. And the fact that it's a regulated industry creates a lot of these market inefficiencies. The FDA process for developing drugs is highly regulated. It creates a lot of these inefficiencies. So the only thing is, some of the drugs we developed, didn't work, and that was part of the plan, right? Is you've got to develop a portfolio.
Not part of the plan, but it's part of the result.
It's part of the. You plan for the reality that some of them aren't going to work, right?
Correct.
That's a portfolio. But if you actually believe in that inefficiency, do it enough times, you have more than enough successes.
That's exactly right.
That'll pay 10 times over for your failure.
As long as you said, what was the term you used? As long as you have that vision to see what's going to work. And that vision comes from doing the homework.
Yeah, exactly. So
all right, now we're getting into the good stuff. Ken Nirvana said, "You're the first streamer I watch and never thought I would be the type to watch streams. I think one day you were watching a Dave Smith video, so I checked it out, and now I'm queer." Oh, well, I appreciate that. And I agree. I'm definitely not somebody who, watches a lot of live streams. I will watch replays and stuff, but, I wanted to do something different and add something than just the fact that it's live, the fact that you could pay me to put something up here. I want to do something different. And that's why I call it a party, because as much as we're learning and keeping up with stuff, it's about you guys. It's about coming here and hanging out and having a good time. If we learn something cool, if not, then hey, at least we had a good time. So thank you for saying that, buddy. Much appreciated. And, guys, if you can't, everybody has a different money situation. And if you can't open your wallet, stuff like this tugs at the heartstrings. We put a lot of work into this, and just little things like that. Thank you very, very much, sir. All right, let's get into it.
But so I was graduating in 2007, but your story around 2000s would be one of these things where I was in biology. I didn't really study. I didn't come from the world of business when I entered hedge funds, but you read a lot. You sort of study up quickly. And I remember studying up on the hedges you put on. It was interesting. So I would think that you and I are going to have really similar perspectives, certainly on private market inefficiency, bureaucracy, taking advantage of capitalism, the American
100%.
way. I think we're on the same page there. So then I start seeing a couple of years ago, and this is where we, I think, maybe begin to have some differences of opinion, where you, I think, end up on the, let's just say, the stakeholder capitalism side of the business debate, right? The you call it, for lack of better description, the pro ESG, the pro diversity.
Oh yeah. Let's not go too far, right? I always look at it. What's best for my business, and if it's good for my business,
I agree with that.
Okay, so now we're seeing the seat. So I'm pro. Mark Cuban says I'm pro as ESG because I'm pro whatever is good for my business, which is the kind of mentality that you want a CEO, a business, somebody in business. That's the mentality that you want. The problem is that, again, as we talk about all the time, even though the two political sides are very far apart, most people are trying to work towards the same end. They just have very, very, very different ideas on how to get there. So if you are somebody who has a lot of stake in moving money around and moving big amounts of money around, then the reasons why you do what you do with your money are important. Not to say that you have to think this way, but I mean, if you're wrong, then I think you, me, and everybody else would like you to have the right information. Giovanna says, "You got the it factor. I'm trying to see if you got me staying in. Yesterday was 100 people. It's like you're growing up too quickly, and the chats get wild." Yep, that is very true. We were talking in the after party about I'm used to maybe 20 of you guys in here, and all of you I know pretty well. So it's a little bit easier. I got the YouTube chat here. There's a little bit of delay, so while I'm talking, I can see the chat and all that stuff. But when there's hundreds of people, I'm not used to that rate, and now I'm like 20 minutes behind in comments, and it kind of breaks that party thing. So it's gonna get better. It's gonna get better as you were saying, growing up and learning as we go. And again, cannot say that I appreciate you guys being here any more than I do. I love it so much. So thank you again. No more gooning. No more gooning.
What's best for my business? And if it's good for my business,
I agree with that.
If it's good for my business, I'm not going to ask anybody to legislate it, but I'm going to tell you what's good for my business. ESG is one way to categorize it, but to me, as it applies to ESG, you have young kids, right?
Mhm.
And so there is an understanding, and my kids were younger back then. There's an understanding that you have to ask as a parent, what is the world your kids are going to live in, right?
It's gonna be racist if we don't have the ESG, and you have brown kids, you know this.
Right. And to me, I believe climate change is real. I believe it's man-made. And if that is the case, I'm going to be for anything that mitigates that risk.
If that's the case, how much work have you done to determine if that is in fact the case? Because if it's not, then what does that mean?
Because there's nothing more important to me in the value chain, right, in my risk analysis and dealing with probability than what's going to create the best world for my kids. That's
So
it.
yeah, so I'll say a
Agreed.
word about my own views on climate change. We don't have to debate this because the more important part is the business part, although we can debate the climate change part too. So do I believe global surface temperatures are going up? Yes, I do. Do I believe that there are man-made causes that may be playing a role in that? It appears plausible that that could actually be the case. However, I do not believe that that is anywhere near an existential risk for humanity. And
So
here's
let's
why,
just
right?
talk probability. Okay, go ahead.
So just a couple facts.
Sure.
because
Keep
you
your
can put
panties on,
probabilities
Mark.
around it,
Keep your panties on. I know how y'all get triggered when we say climate change is not the worst thing ever, as I once did publicly to my father in a restaurant. But keep your pants on, Mark.
If you look
Right.
at the hard realities, are 8 times as many people die of cold temperatures today rather than warm ones. The
Okay.
Earth is now covered by more green surface area today than it was a century ago because carbon dioxide is actually sustenance, plant food, effectively.
Okay.
And the right answer to all of these
Shout out to Soil to Soul. We have not forgot about you.
temperature-related deaths, cold or hot, is more abundant and plentiful access to energy, which requires fossil fuels. So
What if
for
you're
that
wrong?
reason, what's that?
What if you're wrong? What if you're wrong?
What if you're wrong? What if you're wrong? Well, then there's not much we can do, and we're going to die anyway. What if you're wrong?
Access to energy, which requires fossil fuels. So
What if
for
you're
that
wrong?
reation, what's that?
What if you're wrong? What if you're wrong?
Yes, so there's
What's
some
at
tail
stake?
problem.
What's because we don't know. Nobody
Yeah.
knows for certain, right?
So the
You
what
can
if you're wrong
model all
argument,
this stuff.
I can engage with that. Right? Because I think that's a legitimate. Even if there's a 1% chance you're wrong, how do you know?
Good, and I mean, not a invalid question for sure, but it's very clearly a question that you're asking without having thought of the implications of the question being pushed back on you. Shout out to Indie Film. Welcome to the party. Just designed that beautiful site, theindianjesus.com. Welcome. Said, so Cuban has given up his private jets and gas-guzzling vehicles. Bet he doesn't own any boats. I'll take you up on that bet. Welcome to the party. Any phone said I would ask, what if I'm right and it's all a scam to control people and take their money? Well, lucky for you, that's exactly what Vivek is going to ask.
My only answer to that is you could be wrong in both directions, right?
Of course you can.
The
Of course you can. But
reality
in my case, it costs money. In your case, your kids and my kids could be French fries, and their kids could have no chance.
So
Hey, shout out to TM1776. Welcome to the party. Good to see ya. We are chilling here with Mark Cuban and Vivek Ramaswamy. And Mark just asked a question he was not ready to answer. Welcome.
And of
The
course you can.
reality
But in my case, it costs money. In your case,
Money.
your kids and my kids could be French fries, and their kids could have no chance.
So that debate's going to go on for a really long time, and I'm super interested in that. I've got a book coming out later this year evaluating all of the different angles on this for part of that. The part I'm interested in, though, for the business point, okay?
Uh-huh.
Why should it be an individual business or a CEO that takes into account what they're doing for their own business to address climate change? Wouldn't that not make your business less competitive relative to Chinese peers?
Well, it depends. No,
None of whom, by the
because-
way, give the first care about climate change.
Yeah, I don't give a fuck.
Not necessarily. I know what you're saying, though, right? China has a 50-year horizon when they make decisions, right? We have a 3-month horizon when a lot of our businesses make decisions. The reason, as a CEO, as an entrepreneur, you want to care is you want your kids to live in a world that they can thrive in.
And so again, the question is, what if you're pouring all of this money and cutting your foot off at the knee for this fantasy future that you're wrong? if the climate is that dire anyway, there is nothing we can do unless we can get control of China and India. So if we're wrong, then we're fucked anyway. If you're wrong, we're not fucked, and we drained a bunch of money. I don't understand the calculus. King said, usually people like this are more worried that there won't be anyone alive to remember their legacy is a feeling I have. But we will all be forgotten in a way. I mean, speak for yourself. I'm going to be in the history books, and anybody who is part of this community will as well. But point taken. TN said, all the climate initiatives are for nothing. China, India, South America, and many other countries aren't changing. Bingo. Right. So that's exactly the point, is that he's trying to say, well, if you're wrong, then everybody's going to die. Well, even if you're right, then exactly what you said, the initiatives are for nothing because we're all going to be French fries anyway. So why burn all of this money and destroy the future or the present that we have for a future that may not exist? That don't make no sense. Jansen, honestly, this Earth is millions of years old. We don't have all the data one way or another. They're coming to conclusions with half the data. Yep. And I mean, to be fair, when it's in the context of business and markets and stocks and stuff like that, that is, you are speculating. He's not a climate scientist and he's not a politician. So this works for that. But for this conversation, it really is just a matter of who's right, who's wrong, who has the reasons to believe they're right and wrong, because those things are, at least on Mark's side, not super relevant. Shout out to Arjun. Welcome to the party. So when politicians force companies to care about the climate, they will just leave. They go to China or India, which doesn't change anything in the long run. Yeah, that's exactly what Vivek was just saying. Human ingenuity will get us through, I believe, as well. You want to talk about the Indian Jesus has faith? The Indian Jesus has faith in humanity.
You want your kids to live in a world that they can thrive in. And even if there's a 99% chance I'm wrong, which I think is far greater that I'm right, so and that's where we disagree. Okay. But even if I'm wrong, it costs money, right? And money is valuable, don't get me wrong. I've been broke as much as I've been rich. Maybe not as much, but I've been broke a lot, right? Mm-hmm. But, and for my kids, that's everything, and their kids and their potential kids, right? And it's just not worth the risk. So when I have a discussion with yourself or somebody else who's like, I can't believe we have to pay off for all this stuff. And in China, in India, and all these other countries, the pollution just runs rampant. And so my answer to that is, first, you have to accept the fact that it's a risk, right? A greater than zero probability that man-made climate change could really have a catastrophic impact on the world.
I'll give you that. Believe nothing except that anything is possible. Yeah, sure. Of course it's possible. Shout out to Equality and Deference, because Vagina in the building over on a Rumble said, Al, we all gonna burn. Al, we all gonna burn Gore. How many? What is that word? Oh, how many freaking 20,000 square foot homes? Yeah, that's and who was bringing it up before about flying private and how many yachts does he have? And I'm waiting for a certain line before I really go hard. I'm waiting for a certain line before I really go hard. But welcome, Equality and Deference. Yeah, I mean, nuclear is the way of the future. End of story. TM said there's a guy on Rogan at some point in the last year saying that we're ending the first ice age we're in. This is the cycle of the Earth. And I mean, as much as, they're working on half data, this is a very, 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 very reasonable theory, but still, or hypothesis, but still, just a hypothesis. And so the position, the political position is that we don't know what the future is, but we definitely know how the economics affect today. So why are you burning the goodwill that we have today for a future that may not exist? It may not exist. And I mean, I'm waiting for this one line. I'm waiting for this one line.
That man-made climate change could really have a catastrophic impact on the world. And if you believe that and you start working in that direction, then if you're a geek like I am and you trust technology and investing in it, then you can say, you know what, as long as we're working in that right direction, all these CEOs who are smart and start looking at potential solutions to be, net zero, or making investments in carbon capture or sequestration, whatever it may be, now there's a chance we can solve the problem and get to a point where it's not an imposition on every CEO around the world.
See, look, I think the "what if you're wrong" framing is a good question to ask in all directions, 360 degrees.
Because it applies, but it's not a money question, right? Because it's not a money question. It's even if this is, let's just say, climate change is not man-made, right? It's not man-made, and temperatures, because we're just in this cycle for whatever reason. God's cycle says the average temperature in Minnesota in 16 years is going to be 120 degrees.
Right.
We don't know when.
It's happened through history, but here's my point about the hubris of this, right? This is something I've joked around. I'm offering this more tongue in cheek, but as a thought experiment. Could you imagine a movie, a dystopian movie you would make for the future? Okay, maybe we can co-produce this, where we are 200 years in the future.
I've been nominated. Movies I've been a producer on has been nominated. I've been nominated for 7 Academy Awards.
Oh yeah, that's super relevant to our conversation, Mark.
Movies I've been a producer on has been nominated. I've been nominated for 7 Academy Awards.
Is that right? I didn't know that. So I'm an executive producer on a movie that's coming out in September, which is actually about the challenging issue of child trafficking in the United States. America, I think it's good. I'll send you a copy, and I would love your feedback before it comes out if you have that kind of experience. Sure. But I'm not serious about making the next one I'm talking about, but I could be persuaded. 200 years from now, we are churning up coal plants that we have shut down because we're facing a looming ice age. And remember, in the 1970s, if you look at the cover of Newsweek or Time magazine, I'm not kidding you, there were cover magazines.
No, I know,
you could look them up.
I was alive back then, remember? I was alive back then.
That was back when you were broke.
Right, definitely broke.
It's longer rich than broke. But the reality is, that was actually the concern of the climate scientists.
No, I get that.
Recently as 40 to 50 years ago. So the hubris to think that now, because we're going to restrict carbon dioxide.
But one thing that but I think we can agree on,
not just on the temperature, but on the effects for humanity or how many people.
But I think we can.
Yeah, and Equality Endeavor says, doesn't China produce more carbon than the EU and America combined? Bingo. Yup, that's where all the manufacturing is.
Lack of energy access in the meantime.
If we go back to the 70s, we can agree that the number one technological tool was an IBM 360, right? Which is not as powerful as your phone is today. That just the technological advances we've made in computing power, in connecting computing power together to in cloud computing, in AI. There's so many tools that are available today. You can't be shocked when they were wrong back then. And those tools only continue to improve. So in the drug development business, all the work that's being done in AI to try to determine which molecules will work to create drugs better, et cetera, right?
Right.
And so the same thing applies to climate change. So while it's great to say you can go back 50 years and say the predictions, overpopulation, we're going to freeze. Of course, there were a lot of insane predictions back.
That wasn't the point. The point is, at the time, the experts were saying X. And we were like, oh my God, the experts are saying X. Now the experts are saying Y. And we're like, oh my, they changed. And now automatically they're without any verification as to the specific ways that Americans, recycling and keeping your AC at 78 in the summer is actually going to reverse any of those things. It's just I can't. I'm busting my load. I can't even wait. I titled this "It's Just Money." I think he says that. I think he says it, but he essentially said it at the very beginning. Well, if it's me, then I spend a lot of money. Like, yeah, that's very easy to say when you're a fucking billionaire. But it's our money. It's our money. Like, yes, you may be paying more in taxes, but we're all paying into this stuff. We're all paying into this stuff. We're all being affected by the types of initiatives with DEI and stuff. That stuff affects people. And when you have when you have good intentions with the wrong information, what do they say? The road to hell is paved with good intentions. Colleen Deveron's laughing at me. I'm zooming you in now. I'm zooming you in, so I know exactly what the hell you are saying. TM said, I feel like it's some of it is a grift because the scientists that study it are more than likely government funded. They're not going to say, nope, we were wrong and lose their jobs. They have to embellish to stay funded. Wait a minute. Are you telling me, TM, that you think that there's people in our government who care more about keeping their job than being honest or doing what's right for America? I don't know, man. That's pretty out there. That's pretty out there. Imagine really thinking that. Shout out to the Eerie Fairy Tales. Welcome, welcome, welcome to the party. Yep, mini ice age, totally normal for the climate to fluctuate. Welcome to the party. Anyone said, wait, what? The IBM clone 386 did not come out until maybe 85. I thought he was a geek. Oh, he's not even geeky enough. Come on, bro. Come on. Good fact check. King Ivana said, Mark's point is we have advanced so much that our predictions are best now. I disagree. Just saying. I agree that the as we go forward, the current, like if we look at medical science, then yes, we can. There's many areas where we can say, oh, the experts thought this in the past, but they think this now. And because of the advanced technology and methods and whatever, we can verify that our change in position is right. They're still speculating. They're just speculating something different. They may have different information that's making them speculate. But when we talk about advancing with medical science, they don't just think that, oh, well, maybe it's this, and then, oh, now the experts think maybe it's this because there's reason to believe. No, they test it. They do double-blind studies and they test their hypotheses so that it can become a theory. Oh wow, my gameplay is amazing. You can't it almost like look at the graphics on this game. It's crazy, right?
Population.
Yes, guys. Every single stream is on Twitch, and this is what we get. Quality and deference is heading out. You have a good one. Thank you so much for being here. When? What are we talking about? I mean, I've seen that in general. Recently, I don't know what you're talking about.
So while it's great to say you,
yeah, I think he does say the phrase "it's just money." I mean, I'm pretty sure. Maybe I have to take out "just," but he said it's money. But yeah, that notion, it's just money. It's just money, says the billionaire.
Right.
And so the same thing applies to climate change. So while it's great to say you can go back 50 years and say the predictions overpopulation, we're going to freeze. Of course, there were a lot of insane predictions back then. They didn't have the tools.
But they were saying but for carbon dioxide emissions. They recognize carbon dioxide emissions.
That's fine. It's fine. Yeah. So you create awareness of issues, and that's the beauty of technology. Yeah. Hopefully we get smarter and smarter and smarter, and the tools become better. And where we are.
Oh, wait, so you mean that there's a potential that as we continue to learn things, that what we think now could be wrong? Okay, just saying. Just saying. Anyone said, hey, Mark, did you know that in the 70s, when they thought there was an impending ice age, they wanted to smear coal dust all over the ice caps to melt them? That would have been a great play by science. Yep. Yes, I do have that. I have that and the show that she did today, both on my watch later. So, of course, we have Philosophy Friday coming up, but I haven't seen it yet. But, and because Dave Smith is he's kind of one track in terms of this this show. I don't think he's going to bring out anything super new. But yes, both the most two recent shows that Candace did, I'm sure next Monday we will be covering one of them. Unless something amazing comes out before then. But
hopefully we get smarter and smarter and smarter, and the tools become better. And where we are today is where we're at. And what I can tell you from my own investments, looking and working with guys like Chris Saka to say, okay, this could really fuck us all up. You have kids, I have kids, Vivek has kids. What can we invest in so that in the event it truly is man-made, in the event that we have no control, which we don't, over companies around the world that are polluting left and right, what tools can we create? And maybe some of those tools end up only being capable to the point like we have to keep, the temperature below this certain number, right? You just don't know what the parameters are going to
Put a one in the chat if you'd like more Dave Smith on the channel.
be. So you got to try to improve them all.
One area of common ground is because you use the word polluting. I think clean air and clean water is a totally separate issue, which
of course,
unambiguously defended.
Yeah,
right?
clean energy is a good thing, right?
No,
you can argue about
clean air and clean water, right? So the air you breathe and the water you drink, right? That is, you could deal with that issue entirely independently of whatever you believe is going to happen to
one like equals one stream with Dave Smith.
The global surface temperatures of the climate.
Okay,
but so the climate issue we just touched on there. What about the diversity issue? Right. This is the one. This is the one
diversity.
Because you and I, for people who don't know, actually, this conversation came out of. So we weren't on social media, but we're in a Signal chat group.
Shout out to VHS 201. Welcome to the party. So, do you think BRICS can survive if China's economy crashes, or will it just implode? I could bullshit you, but I have no idea. I'm not, the stuff outside of the U.S. is not my strong suit. I am a culture warrior for sure. But, I mean, just based on my understanding, if China's economy crashes, I think, everything is fucked. I think that is not only going to, be a big deal for manufacturing, as we were saying earlier. That's where most manufacturing is. But they also have the military capability to be like, okay, well, if we can't do what we need to do, we can come and do, make you do it for us. So that is my super lowbrow take on can BRICS survive if China's economy crashes. But sorry about that. But welcome to the party. At least you came in when we're talking business. So these guys know a lot more about business than I do.
Conversation came out of. So we weren't on social media, but we're in a Signal chat group, which is interesting. I find you could actually have better conversations there than somehow it doesn't work that way on social media.
Because you're not performing for millions of people.
Yeah,
right?
Yep. If you're not familiar, Signal is similar to it's like a mix of WhatsApp and Discord type thing. And again, Discord is just better for communicating and having good conversations. It is free, guys. Join the Discord.
Also, just the nature of like even the format. I don't know. That's something I got to think about because modern social media is not conducive to conversation, right? But I for sure. Healthy, productive discourse. For sure. But anyway, we had an exchange. All right. So let me give you, without using the word DEI, because it's just so tired.
You can use DEI. That's fine.
I don't.
He's like, I love DEI. Oh my God. I
like using it because it causes, especially if it's somebody I might disagree with.
I like using it. I got no problem with it, even though it pisses people off. That makes it more fun.
well, let's use DEI then. Fine. So let's say in the name of DEI, right?
Actually, right there, I do also want, Vivek is trying to say, hey, I want to have a real conversation about this because this is affecting people. And he's like, oh, well, let's just have fun with it. I get that there's you want to be entertaining. But he specifically said he doesn't want to get divisive and he wants to get to the heart of the issue. But again, it's just a game to you. It's just numbers. It's just money, right, Mark? It's just money.
Fun.
well, let's use DEI then. Fine. So let's say in the name of DEI, right? Pfizer. Okay. This example I gave you. We started talking about it. Pfizer sets a target. You can call it a quota, call it a target.
Not a quota.
Pfizer sets a target. But it is a very precise numerical target. And this is not picking on one company.
Well, it's a percentage. It was a percentage, right?
They're
so a target.
They're in an industry that I know well, but this is representative.
And I know that industry well too.
Yeah. Right. So it's an industry.
I'm liking him less and less every single second.
We both know else we're picking this example, but this is not unique to Pfizer healthcare. It's true across every other industry.
IBM has done it. Others have done it.
Right. Something to the effect of, and you people can look up the exact what it is, but the punchline is 32% or so was the number for minorities in certain corporate vice president levels or above. I get it approximately right. Look up exactly what the details, but suppose it's 32% in vice president level corporate executives or above by a certain year in the future. That's a corporate target that they have set. It's my belief, right, that these types of demographic goals, if that's your basis for setting a target, that is incompatible with pure meritocracy. Where
absolutely not.
Oh, my apologies. Shout out to Mike Honey. Whoa, yeah, not saying that name on here. All right, that's why we don't check This is the kick shot. This is the kick shot. This is like, why am I still on kick? Why am I still on kick? I don't need people like this in my life. But what else? Moving on.
Compatible with pure meritocracy, where
absolutely not.
Yeah, and that's why I know you disagree, right? So give me your view.
Sure.
Yeah, right.
So
I don't know if
targets are one.
I don't know if he's trying to control the conversation, but he just can't shut the fuck up while Vivek is talking.
Thing, right? They're not a quota. If it was a quota, you would be able to. Let me take a step back. There are these things called EEOC reports.
Sound like a cop. Oh, cops don't have quotas. I don't know what you're talking about. They just let however many tickets you write. They don't even care. They don't even care, bro. There's no quotas.
The quota, you would be able to. Let me take a step back. There are these things called EEOC reports, right? Where
Equal
the
Employment Opportunity Commission. That's what it is. Yep.
Right. Where they actually have to
Equal Employment Opportunity Commission, EEOC,
disclose the numbers for those vice president positions by male, female, white, black, Asian, other races, and biracial, right?
Actually, really quick though, I do want to remind yesterday we did the stream of "I'm not in your goofy cult," and clearly we have a Trump supporter here, and I'm not in your cult. It's really sad, but do you, lolly groiper? I something tells me this is not a serious person, but again, just another little grain of sand on the heap of, oh, I'm not a conservative. Oh, I'm not a liberal. I am me. VHS said, I know that India is a strong option to replace China with manufacturing wise. I just don't know if it will be in time before shit hits the fan. Yeah, I think you're right about that, because the rate that things are changing, we would have had to have things in motion already, and it don't look like that is happening. I can speak. I know words.
Numbers for those vice president positions by male, female, white, black, Asian, other races, and biracial, right? And so they have to disclose them, and not all companies do. They have to report it. They don't have to disclose. Not all companies do, but Pfizer does. And when you go and actually look at the numbers on the EEOC report, they're nowhere close to those targets. And in fact, in some years, they actually reduced the number of people you would think would benefit from DEI, right? Based off of the traditional DEI views.
And that's,
well, you would think that they would get better, but we know better than that.
In fact, in some years, they actually reduced the number of people you would think would benefit from DEI, right? Based off of the traditional DEI views.
And that's
Black
accurate.
Americans,
what you just said is accurate. It's fact.
Right.
So why bother to specify that target or goal in the first place? Because your point is they're not even meeting it. And you're right about that in many companies.
I mean, when you say they're not meeting it, that's just confirmation that it's not a quota. Because a lot of people will take that number and project that as a quota. Why would they do it? It's a quota, but they never meet it. None of the companies ever meet it.
What's the purpose of setting that goal on the
for the
basis
same
of
reason?
Exactly. If you're saying, oh, with DEI, we're going to make sure that we have these targets. They're not quotas. You don't have to meet them. But this is our target of 30% women, 30% blacks, 30% whatever. But if you don't meet it, it's no problem. Then why have it in the first place? Why have it in the first place? Because certainly the WEF and the people who are bringing this down on the entire world, they're not just like, I'm bored. Let's just do this. There's clearly a reason. And so if people are not meeting it, then to Vivek's question, why even think this way in the first place? TMs, that's because certain people aren't even applying. What, meaning that they don't meet the targets? I mean, yeah, that's probably very there's only so many black people that want to be pilots. There's only so many women that want to be in, again, if you look at this Nordic countries, Scandinavian countries are the same thing. The Nordic countries where they say the most egalitarian societies, men and women do very different things in those societies. It's almost like men and women are different.
Haram!
Shout out to Tyler Smith. Welcome to the party. So glad Cuban is having a face-to-face conversation about it. I said, shit, me too, because it is a good takedown of, again, somebody who's very good in their industry and good with money and economics in general. But the political aspect of it is slightly different. It's slightly different. So the population, too, makes what the DEI crowd wants impossible. Yep. Yeah.
But they never meet it. None of the companies ever meet it.
What's the purpose of setting that goal on the basis of race or gender in the first place, Mark?
First, when you talk about portfolio management in your company, right? And you talked about you're going to have failures and you're going to have successes, and you probably had a target for your return on equity that you wanted to get, right? And so you said, I've raised this money, I'm investing this money, we're going to have hits and misses, and our target return is 23%.
Oh, okay. So people are just numbers, and you're gambling that this percentage of black people is going to do better for your bottom line than just meritocracy. Is that what I just heard? Is that what I just heard? I'm pretty stupid, so I may have gotten that wrong, but it sounded. Let's hear it again.
Wanted to get, right? And so you said, I've raised this money, I'm investing this money, we're going to have hits and misses, and our target return is 23%. Same thing, right? Good companies look at their employees as capital, right? As intellectual capital. Yeah. And where you want to have a better portfolio outcome for your intellectual capital, there's certain things that you want to see happen. One of them,
before he goes into that, any film. So the answer is easy. It's the same as when Democrats tell minorities that they're going to fix all their problems. It's just lip service. They're just saying, oh, here's our targets to the public. And again, that speaks to if all you care is about your bottom line, which Mark Cuban just said, he's not a politician, he's not any of that stuff, then why are you in favor of this? How is this good for your bottom line? That is the question that he's not answering. It's crazy. Seems we don't want the best of the best except sports. Well, I think that's going down the tubes with the men and women's sports. So not there either. Sorry.
For your intellectual capital, there's certain things that you want to see happen. One of them is diversity. And now when I talk about
diversity of what?
Diversity, and I put this up on Twitter, that means going out there and just like you look for the best arbs across all bio companies, right? You didn't care where they were located, looking for the best employee, the most capable employee means turning over rocks where other people don't look. And you probably found some of your best deals by looking where others don't look.
At the people who are not qualified to do the job, that's where you're going to find the best people?
And I found some of my best employees by looking where others don't look.
Why denominate? I agree with you so far, but why denominate it based on race? Why take this top-down category that, and I'll tell you why it gets under my skin is, I think it causes.
Because it's brown. Get it? What gets under my skin?
Down category that, and I'll tell you why it gets under my skin is, I think it causes us to be more divided when we see each other on the base of our skin.
Yeah.
No. Talking constantly about race and how different races are No. That doesn't make us think about skin color and race. No, that's crazy. What are you, a conspiracy theorist? Come on, man.
Us to be more divided when we see each other on the base of our skin.
Yeah, I'm going to disagree. Okay, so let's go to your point, right? Yeah. Let's go to your question. Let's just say I'm looking at a drug company, Roivant. How do you pronounce your company?
Roivant was my first company.
Yeah. Roivant, right? So I have Roivant, and I recognize that for cancer drugs, they're all ignoring them. Everybody's ignoring cancer. So I'm going to set a target for cancer drugs because I know everybody else isn't looking there. Yeah. They're missing it. And so I'm going to go where these cancer drugs are being made, where they're not making enough an investment in them, and I'm going to go to focus, not necessarily focus there, but I'm going to extend my ARB reach and my look to include those cancer drugs from companies I think don't do a good job of figuring out the value in that drug.
So are you saying that you weren't looking at black people before? You weren't looking at women before? You were only looking at white men? Why were you not looking at black people and women and whatever before? You need DEI to tell you that black people can do the same thing white people can? I don't know if it is a terrible analogy. I think it might be spot the fuck on. I think he just said exactly what the fuck he meant. Well, I wasn't really looking at. I was gonna say something in this that can only be said in Discord, but I'm not looking at the dark skins. I'm not looking at the broads. I only look at the white men. And so now with DEI, we can turn over stones we never looked before. What are you talking about? TMC is comparing drugs that are effective to underqualified people. That is true as well. I don't know what I was trying to say that, but that as well. But I think, and yes, I'm being kind of tongue in cheek when I think he's saying it's spot on. But this is what I mean when if that makes sense to you, then either you don't understand what DEI is, you don't understand meritocracy, and or you are racist because you haven't, or sexist because you've only been looking at white men. Listen to it again.
And I'm going to go to focus, not necessarily focus there, but I'm going to extend my ARB reach and my look.
I'm going to extend my reach and my look to places I haven't looked before.
To include those cancer drugs from companies I think don't do a good job of figuring out the value in that drug.
So if I'm going to be as charitable as I can, then it sounds like what he's trying to say is that there are good, I am looking for good people of all races and good creeds and whatever. But DEI helps us do that extended look. That I'm trying to be as extended as possible. But I, as a lowly white man, can only do so much without DEI. If I'm trying to be as charitable as possible, I think that's what he's trying to say. That I'm already trying to look as far as I can, but DEI helps me do that further. And I just disagree with that. It's just, if I'm a minority, does that mean I'm a doobie? I mean, like a doobie? I mean, I like doobies. TM said the Dems' policies expose them and their racism. Bingo. Yep. He's pretty much saying that people weren't looking before, or at least him. Good people on both sides. Saying minorities like us can't make it on our own merit. And again, that's what I hear, and that's what a lot of people hear. But again, I think what he's trying to say is that absolutely minorities and women can do it on their own merit. But the systemic systems that are systemically set up make it harder for me to find those people. That's what I think he's trying to say. Now, of course, that is dumb, because there is nothing stopping those people from applying to the same jobs and getting the same resume as anybody else. Yeah, we need the white liberal help us, please. Oh, white man. No, I know you don't think you're superior to me, but I need you to exist, right? Insanity.
Don't do a good job of figuring out the value in that drug. That is what D in diversity is. It's saying, look, there's a lot of women, Black, Asian, whatever it may be, people that I think are not being recruited. That there are a lot of people who may not have the best test scores from the best school, but they may have a lot of soft skills from their experiences.
So then apply to the job. If they have those skills, then hire them. Baba Yaga. Shout out to what is that's a real thing, right? I mean, I know of that from Ant-Man, but that's a real thing, right? In Rabani history or something. BHS said if minorities can't make it on their own merit, explain the rate of success in the Asian communities. Shh. We don't talk about that, BHS. We don't talk about that, okay? That's a secret. Yeah, all right. That would shout out to Kathy Hochul. There's kids, Black kids, who don't even know what a computer is. Yeah, sure.
School, but they may have a lot of soft skills from their experiences. And I'm going to go out and I'm going to find.
What's the E?
Okay, let me finish this point, right?
Yep.
Yeah, you got to get to the E. Is this worth a Google? Is it Baba Yaga? Anything I can bring this from Slavic folklore has two opposite roles. Yeah. In some motifs, she is described as a repulsive or ferocious-looking old woman who fries and eats children, while in others, she is a nice old woman who helps out the hero. She's often associated with forest wildlife. There we go. Any film said, yeah, I mean, maybe people should just stop putting their picture on their application so that we can just judge them by their marriage. I thought that was a good joke, but I was gonna say then you can just go by the names because LaQuisha ain't getting no job. Sorry, honey. But yeah, I mean it's insane. And yeah, TM said African immigrants and Indian immigrants do extremely well as well. But they didn't earn it because reasons. And we have to give them everything. And I speak as an American who is Indian and Chinese. It's stupid. It's stupid. So let's get to the E.
And I'm going to go out. I'm going to find.
What's the E?
Okay, well, let me finish this point, right?
Yep.
Okay, so I'll get to the E, right? I'm going to go and find the best possible candidates that I can.
Why do you need DEI to do that?
And they're going to compete with everybody else. Just like when you at Roivant, you compete with your cancer drugs, have to compete in potential return for the non-cancer drugs, right? And so in my diversity, when I go out and I look at this, I'm going to say this person, this woman, African-American woman who was from this small school that I've never recruited at, she's brilliant. And
okay, so then why does it matter what color she is? If she's brilliant, then fucking hire her. What are we talking about?
And who was from this small school that I've never recruited at, she's brilliant. And when I compare her to other people that I might hire, she's better. Now
then hire her.
This other person, African-American, another small school I typically don't recruit at, they may not be good enough. I'm not going to hire.
Did you catch it? Did you catch it? I was being tongue-in-cheek. I was being tongue-in-cheek. Did you catch it? Listen again and see if you hear it.
Another small school I typically don't recruit at.
Why aren't you recruiting there, buddy? I thought you wanted to have the widest reach. I thought you cared so much about diversity. Why do you need DEI points to tell you to go to recruit at this school? I don't understand how you're saying this and not hearing what you're saying. How do you not hear what you're saying?
Other person, African-American, another small school I typically don't recruit at, they may not be good enough. I'm not going to hire them just because they're black from a small school that nobody else recruited at. They have to qualify. So then when I hire this.
So that just sounds like meritocracy.
African-American woman from this small school, because she has amazing soft skills, maybe not the best test scores, that's where equity comes in, right? Equity means putting people in a position to succeed,
that they don't
giving
deserve.
them the tools that they need. So she might have soft skills I invested in this company called Scoutable, right? Scoutable.com. And all they do is they have people play these games. And when you play the game, and thousands and thousands and thousands of people have played the game.
It's okay, Andy Film. None of us understand. He doesn't understand. He's just going on. This is what I'm supposed to think. I'm going to make more money if I do DEI and hire the black girl because I never hire black people, but the DEI is going to make me money. You need the DEI because you are a fucking racist. You think that inner city school people cannot do as well, so you don't recruit from there. So you need the world government to tell you, hey, look at the blackies. You're a racist, Mark Cuban. He legit just said an African-American at a school I don't look at. Bingo. I'm speechless. I'm speechless. Nick said hiring should be based on your qualifications, not your skin color or your sex or anything else that doesn't equate to your qualifications. But what do I know? Yeah, you're not. Are you a billionaire? Mark Cuban's a billionaire, okay, bro? You don't know shit. What have you ever done with your life? This is Mark Cuban, okay? He said DEI is good, therefore DEI is good.
Game, it helps you to, it does, based off the results in the past you take, they'll compare them to other successful people in other vertical areas, right? Programming, bio, and they'll look for.
I can't wait. You can just see. Look at Vivek's face. He's like, oh, honey, sweetie, baby, honey, sweetie, baby. You done walked into it.
Similarities. They'll do statistical analysis and they'll say, look, this person who we found in the middle of nowhere doesn't have a computer science degree, but the soft skills that they have matches up perfectly to our best programmers.
What does that have to do with DEI? Just go look at those places and hire those people. Use your own money to fund those people, to give them the skills that they need, which again is not competitive as business. But if that's what you want to do, then do that. Why does everybody else need to do that? If I start a business, why can't I just hire based on merit? And if it ends up that I work with all women or all black women or all guys or all white men or whatever, I don't care. You apparently do. And it's so much so that you need the World Economic Forum to tell you, you must do diversity and equity. Can't say better yet. If those people wanted to work for you, they'd apply. So, I mean, again, being charitable, the other side of this is to say, well, these people don't apply because they assume that the world is systemically racist and they don't, whatever. And that is a cultural issue. That is not a political issue. That is a cultural issue where, because of the type of rhetoric that we see over and over and over and over and over and over and over, Black people think that they are lesser than, that they are a different type of community than other Americans. And DEI only reinforces that idea. Can't make people apply. If they got skills for that type of job, then they'd apply. And again, I do think there is something to be said about the victim mentality. And I don't necessarily think that it's a I don't think that just because you have a victim mentality that you're not a victim. So I think, especially if you are younger, you may very easily be a legitimate victim of the victim mentality, where you're not actually a victim, except for the fact that you think you're a victim. And you think you're a victim not because you want to play that card, but because that's the culture that you grew up in. Everybody tells you, oh, us Black people can do this, us women can't do this, us brown people can't do this, and you internalize it. And so, yes, you have the victim mentality, but now you are you have that realistic vulnerability that you actually believe that. So it's a little bit, and again, so I think that it's fair to say for those people, we want to make sure that we reach those people. But again, that is a cultural issue, not a political one. Shout out to Guam Tag. Welcome to the. Did you say hi already? Did I miss you? Oh, the first one. Okay, I was like, wait. I don't remember that. Oh yeah, the first one. That first one. Thank you. Welcome back, sir. Kids born in 2002 thinking they've been oppressed. Okay. Right. Vivek looks like a praying mantis getting ready to strike. And Mom says, what I'm hearing is if I use this software and then they're like, Indy doesn't have the degree, but he's got soft skills, then they're going to see that I'm white and they're going to be like, nah. Bingo. Yep. But if you are the exact same qualification, but you're Black or you're a woman, or you're brown, unless you're Indian or Chinese, then hire him up, give him a raise, give him everything he needs, because the white guy, he already has everything he needs. We know this because of skin color. It doesn't matter where he grew up. The Indian guy whose dad is a doctor is way more oppressed than the white guy living in the trailer park. Come on. I mean, yes, I apologize. I forgot. I didn't encode it because it was the green one. The green one. I put it in a level above. All right, let's dive back in here.
Person who we found in the middle of nowhere doesn't have a computer science degree, but the soft skills that they have matches up perfectly to our best programmers.
I would love to know what exactly he means by soft skills.
Okay. So we're going to take a chance on that person. And the equity is, the E in equity says, we're going to give them extra computer training because we know based off of the data that we're using, they're very capable in ways other people aren't going to find the diversity. And we're going to give them the tools to put them in a position to succeed.
How do you know that? You cannot know that. You cannot, obviously, there are underprivileged people, again, of all races, who have the soft skills or the ability, the potential to be great at something that they may not think is in their realm. But what does that have to do with race? What does that have to do with race? I don't understand how it plugs in. Like all the things that you're saying. Yes, we want underprivileged. We want people to go from the bottom, and now we here. We all about that. But you have to earn it. Soft skills is bullshit for a minority. Sounds like it. It sounds like it. TM said you're not allowing people to take chances on it if you're forcing them to hire them. Good point. To hire someone underqualified. Basically wasting money and time to make someone feel better. Yep. Well, it's just money, right? That's where it comes from. Well, if I have to burn $10 million just to make somebody feel better, it's just $10 million.
Aren't going to find the diversity, and we're going to give them the tools to put them in a position to succeed. Whether or not they will succeed is up to the ability of us to train that person and up to their ability to live up to what we expect of them. If they don't, they'll get a chance or two like every other employee. They'll get, a report from HR saying, here's what you got to do if you're not doing well. And you still have to compete and you still have to do well.
So here's my own just view on, get into the best answers on anything, right?
That was stupid. Play the clip from Billy Madison. We're all now dumber.
Try on the other side like a set of clothes. Try on the best argument for the other side like a set of clothes. And if it fits, you keep it. And if it doesn't, you put it back on the rack.
You iterate. Yeah, you iterate.
So
right. Always iterate.
I appreciate a lot of what you laid out. I think it's an interesting perspective. I'm doing my best to try it on. I'll tell you why for me it feels like it doesn't fit. Okay.
Sure.
Is when I look at the results. Now
it don't make no sense.
Here's where you can measure the results. I'll give you a couple examples. So give you a couple examples in response. One is one of the areas where you look at results of whether you believe you actually have a true meritocracy or not, where you could actually get the actual numbers to do this.
No, according to the dictionary, equity means equal outcome. According to the dictionary. This is the one thing that so far they have not obfuscated. They are dead ass about when they say equity. They have been upfront about it the entire time. They mean equality of outcomes. I mean, credit where it's due. Credit where it's due. They will obfuscate every other word in the English language. But with equity, they're just like, yeah, we want everybody to have exactly the same thing. Got to give them credit where it's due. Shout out to Sizemore. Welcome to the party. Good to see ya. Good to see ya. TM said, yeah, equal outcome is impossible. It's stupid to even suggest it. Well, they're going to have to learn the hard way. We're all going to have to learn the hard way because they are fully going on with this. VHS said it's bullshit because Mark Cuban knows that plan B is the answer he wants to avoid. I think, does he? I don't know. He seems bought in. Again, he doesn't seem to be like, if this was a political person, I would assume that these arguments are so bad that you're just grifting. But he's not. He's just a money guy. He doesn't understand how people think except for the ways that they spend their money. So I don't know. I don't know. I think he could just be this ignorant on the topic. Not saying he's stupid or unintelligent, but everybody has a blind spot or multiple. TM said, not everyone works as hard as the next. Not everyone is ambitious or smart. Not everyone is in the right location to do certain things. There's so many factors that make it impossible. They still gonna try.
Of whether you believe you actually have a true meritocracy or not, where you could actually get the actual numbers to do this, is when you apply that same philosophy to the level of universities. So I know you're talking about it from the level of
two different worlds.
Okay.
Are they though? Why are they two different worlds? Because Indians and Asians do well in record numbers? And it doesn't fit your narrative? I'm trying to formulate, again, a charitable response as to how this could be very, very different. Applying the meritocracy of do you get the job or do you get into this school based on your skin color? How are those two different worlds, at least in this conversation? I don't think they are. Sizemore agrees with TM. The number of musicians I know working behind a desk or a register right now, musicians who would melt you with their talent, ringing up burners, and they're all black, right? Because I mean, the white ones, obviously, like Megan Thee Stallion and Beyonce, they're all over TV. But the white ones, they're all, the black ones, they all, nobody listens to them because everybody's racist.
philosophy to the level of universities. So I know you're talking about it from the level
Two
of
different worlds.
Okay.
Two different worlds.
All right, so you do have different views then. You do have different views.
Oh yeah. Look, I think I've said
If you
this
think about
online
the number
too.
of kids who are like Asian kids who can't get into a university because they got 1,600 on their SAT.
Two different worlds.
Good
Why? Explain why.
at sports, good at musical instruments, and can't get to the end of even their safety school. That is a direct product of a lot of the targets, even not hard quotas, but soft targets.
And not only the targets and the numbers, but the mentality, the cultural understanding that this is the way it should be. We should be giving more to those who are less. That is the mentality. And yes, sir, it is the exact same thing.
Of a lot of the targets, even not hard quotas, but soft targets that these universities have set.
Academics are different because the goal is different.
All right, so we're on the same page. So we're already on the same page there. All right, so universities.
So you're agreeing with me that DEI. So first of all, let's make sure we're on the same page. You're agreeing with me that DEI is good for business.
No, I'm not agreeing with you there.
What? How did you get there? How did you get there? And especially with he said like one sentence and was like, "No, I disagree with you." He's like, "So we agree, huh? Shout out to Zippy for giving me a reason not to have to finish that sentence with a rumble rant. Thank you, sir. And of course, every donation comes with a treat for my co-host, Morty. Thank you. And of course, oh, did you drop it? You got it. And of course, that makes you the new sponsor of the stream. Thank you. It said, feed the dog. Also, when a market is top heavy, hostile forms of investment is a way to minimize or maximize short-term gain. Yet we poors cannot gamble. Government hates competition. Indeed. Thank you so very, very much, sir. And of course, the new sponsor of the stream. Thank you.
Same page, so we're already on the same page there. All right. So universities.
So you're agreeing with me that DEI. So first of all, let's make sure we're on the same page. You're agreeing with me that DEI is good for business.
No, I'm not agreeing with you there. I'm not agreeing.
I didn't hear any.
Well, because I was going to go to the university.
Yeah, because you didn't hear anything because you were talking, motherfucker.
But it sounds like we agree on the universities. But let me.
Look, if it were up to me, universities have too much overhead.
So I think here's what I would say is on your definition of DEI and the way you define it, which I believe is quite different and far more sympathetic, to me at least, than the accounts that you might hear from other proponents of capital D, capital E, capital I. But on your telling of it, my pushback would not be that I disagree with a lot of what you said, but that it then makes DEI redundant. Okay, because if you're running a business, well, let's just go back to...
No way. I haven't heard your position, but no way. I have to be right.
It then makes DEI redundant.
No way.
Because if you're running a business...
Oh, okay. He said in what way? Fair enough.
Well, let's just go back to that sole metric that you evaluated in the first place, which is maximizing your return on equity. If that's your actual metric that matters, there are a million different targets that need to roll up into that.
Of course. And they're not mutually exclusive.
And of course, and it's different for different companies, right? So my view is it's got to fall out of the mission. It's got to be mission driven by the company. So every company.
Of course it is.
Yeah. So
of course it is.
Oh my God! Shut the fuck up.
If I may, right?
So, and when you go ahead.
Okay, just to make.
And again, it's always a little bit worse when you're on somebody else's platform.
Sure, we get the view on the table because it's not the classical disagreement. It's just a slightly different type of disagreement. So let's say your company has a mission. Okay, I'll give you a good example. Actually, this will be very personal to me. Let's say your mission is that you're a steakhouse. Okay, and you want to serve your steakhouse chain, and you want to serve good, high quality steak to your customers.
1 like equals 1 medium rare steak. Everyone who doesn't like the video likes it. Well done.
Like any business, you're going to need different types of diversity to make your business successful. There are certain types of diversity you want, certain types of diversity you don't want.
Yeah, I bet you don't want criminal diversity. Some people are have a clean record, and some of them, just got out of prison on a 10-year stint.
The kinds of diversity you might want people who are good wait staff. You might want people who are good at the cash register. You might have good managers, a good chef. Okay. Even the kind of diversity you want, I would add a lot of diversity to the ranks of a steakhouse. I'll tell you why. Because I'm a vegetarian. I'm a vegetarian on principle. It's a part of my religious upbringing, but also...
Did not know that, but okay.
I'm pescatarian.
Right, so I don't believe in killing...
Again, Mark, nobody gives a fuck about your eating habits. Nobody gives a fuck about your eating habits. whoever said that they're glad to see a Mark in a long form conversation. Wow. This is why we do this. This is why we do this. Because there's people out there who love Mark Cuban. And I didn't have anything against him an hour and 15 minutes ago. Because again, when I skipped through this and I was like, okay, they disagree. He's a lefty, whatever, but he's a business guy. He's doing whatever. But seeing how he actually comports himself is sad. It's sad. He said, I eat dino nuggets at Mark Cuban.
Principle. It's a part of my religious upbringing.
No, he's pescatarian.
I'm pescatarian.
Right. So I don't believe
he's pescatarian, guys. He's pescatarian. Did you get that in the back? He's pescatarian.
believe in killing animals for culinary pleasure. It just happens to be a family belief of mine, and that I've raised in and that I raise my kids in as well. I respect the right of the steakhouse to go pursue its own mission. I don't think the government should be stopping them from doing it. Yep. But even though I would add diversity to the ranks of the steakhouse, I don't think that would necessarily make them better because it doesn't align with their mission. So every business has to ask itself what kind of diversity.
Wait. So you're saying because you're vegetarian, how would they add you to the? How would you?
I don't know. Maybe if you let them talk, then they'll explain it.
I would add diversity. So my point is, I would add
diversity where?
Intellectual diversity, diversity of thought to a steakhouse, right? But I wouldn't be a good employee because I'm not aligned with the mission.
Come on, Vivek. Come on, Vivek.
No, come on. The point I'm making is
diversity.
Different type.
That's not diversity. That's not diversity. Diversity is only different skin colors. If you have different thoughts, if you have different religions, if you have different diets, that's all the same. Diversity is not different things. That's a quote from Mark Cuban, the billionaire. In case you missed it.
That's come on, Vivek.
No, come on. The point I'm making is
diversity.
Different types of businesses need different types of diversity. That's the whole thing.
Of course.
So how could it be that every business sets the same quota or same target based on race or gender, when in fact every business should say we need this type of diversity, people who have experience in the humanities or math.
They do.
And they already do by focusing on return on equity instead of focusing on actual capital D.
They go hand in hand. They go hand in hand because that CEO, if they can't hit their equity goals, right, their ROE goals, they're getting fired, right?
Why would they be fired? That would be my next question. Why would they be fired? Why is skin color diversity the only thing that determines whether you have your job or not? Because as you just said, it doesn't matter if he's making the country the most valuable stock on the exchange. If you don't get your ROE goals, you're fired. So all that matters is that we check boxes of skin color. That is racist. That is racist.
So that's what it comes down to. The ROE goals, the return on equity goal, which means there's a million factors you got to cover. Why do you want one blanket category of diversity?
It's not one blanket strategy. But no CEO would have a clue.
All right, so now is when, it's been enough. We're like halfway through the conversation, just about halfway through the conversation. Vivek's been very calm. And this is one thing that I think he needs to, if he is going to be a legitimate candidate in 28, he needs to learn how to kind of sack up and be like, hey, shut the fuck up while I'm talking on my own fucking platform. Don't come out hot like that. Be nice and calm and whatever. But just like I said with Destiny, we are not going to be covering anymore unless it's super important. It's just, you can't let people walk all over you. And if you earn the goodwill by letting this person, interrupt you over and over again, then when you finally snap and say, hey, I was talking, then you don't get looked at as an asshole because you earned it. Shout out to Funk Master General with a $10 super chat. Welcome to the party. Coming in hot with another treat for Morty. Oh, look at that face. He is loving it. Thank you so very much. A dumb billionaire doesn't seem like it should be a thing, but here you go. And yeah, we were talking before, just about how there's just too many people who think that because they're really good in one area, this area being making money, then, the fact that he knows that, he thinks he knows everything about everything. That ain't how it works. Sorry. a shout out again to our new sponsor of the stream. Welcome to the party.
One blanket category.
It's not one blanket strategy. No CEO with half a clue.
Because it's
no, it doesn't.
It's the same.
You're hoping it does.
Race and gender is what it always comes down to, or sexuality now too. When people are talking about diversity, so I'll give you a good example, Mark. So your business, you sold your business in Yahoo. They're listed on the NASDAQ, right? NASDAQ, or they were back on Yahoo. So NASDAQ, in making some of the arguments you have, says they want companies to report the diversity of their boards of race, gender, and sexual orientation. Now, when proposing that rule, the SEC, which I know is one of your favorite government agencies, but the SEC has to approve that because NASDAQ's an exchange, all right? That means they require what they call a notice and comment from the public. So people have to provide comment on the rules. So they get some suggestions. They say, hey, you're asking companies to report their diversity on race, gender, and sexual orientation. How about we add a couple of other metrics to the list? Veteran status, disability status. I don't remember if they said political beliefs or not, but veteran status and disability status are on there, and suppose political beliefs are also on the list. Here's what NASDAQ came back and said. Okay, after careful review, we have determined that the addition of more indices of diversity have the result of reducing the desired forms of diversity. So what does that say? It says that every company should be evaluating for itself what kind of diversity matters for.
And you just told me an example that they did.
We're gonna address that, but Sizemore brings up a good point here. I'm not a gamer, but obviously the Gamergate was a big kickoff to all of this type of mentality. So the video game industry shows me that diversity is good for sales, but horrible for products. So let's zoom out then. If something is good for sales but bad for products, then in the long term, isn't that going to decrease sales? Is there not going to be at least some competing level of new people that you get by diversity that you're going to lose because the product sucks? Maybe in video games, that's not the case because video games are so addicting that as woke as they get, because like Gamergate was 2014, that was 10 years ago, and people are still obsessed with gaming. So maybe it's just that addicting that you bitch about it, but you're still going to play. But I think in every other area, not every other area, but most areas, most industries, I don't think that that short-term sales, but long-term bad products is good for business. I'm not the billionaire here, but I don't know. Context said Mark Cuban is falling for the oldest trick in the book. Let your opponent dig their own grave. Fortunately, Vivek understands this and knows he doesn't have to talk over him to be right. Yep. VHS said, does Mark Cuban not see how much money Disney is losing? Disney is losing money hand over fist. Well, they're making money, but they're making less money than they should, but they're making more money in the short term, just like Sizemore was talking about. So these people think about life in quarters. How did we do this quarter? Oh, we're up from last quarter. That must mean whatever we're doing is working. And yeah, VHS saying the exact same thing. So because you're looking in the last 3 quarters, as opposed to the last 3 decades, because let's look at, again, obviously, if we zoom out, where was Disney 30 years ago versus where Disney is today? They are a bigger company. They are making more money, but the sanctity of their brand, which again, now we're talking about 100, 200 years of a brand that should go another 200 to 500 years for as long as media doesn't have a complete overhaul and Netflix their blockbuster. I don't know that Disney is going to have that strong base in 50 years. So yeah, it's good. It's good for short term. It definitely is good for sales. It's good for the sales of people who wouldn't otherwise buy your shit. And so exactly what Vivek is talking about. As a vegetarian, the notion of the steakhouse offering a huge vegetarian list would bring in more vegetarians. But it would cut their bottom line because most people who go to a steakhouse don't go for vegetarian options. And there's real costs with having to keep that stuff stocked and so on and so on and so on and so forth. So it might be good for sales, but that doesn't mean it's good for business. Quality goes down, but the whales don't seem to mind. And that's the real disconnect to me. Yeah, or I missed this one. King said they lose a lot of people, but when you got 20 big whales, it makes more cash than the 100 fish spent. And so that's the issue, is that how do we get people to understand the long-term goals when people who have the authority of I'm the billionaire say, no, this is good. Unless you're taking the time to dive into this stuff, why wouldn't you just listen to the billionaire, right? It makes sense on its face, but that's why you have to look deeper into things.
Companies should be evaluating for itself what kind of diversity matters for its own
And you just told me an example that they did. You gave an example of where they did.
Which is
right.
Which is what do you mean?
You said NASDAQ wanted to have ESG type parameters.
For any company that lists on that lists on NASDAQ, they say you have to tell us race, gender, and sexual
NASDAQ said that, right?
Yeah,
NASDAQ
for the companies that are listed and traded on NASDAQ.
So NASDAQ is a company, it's a public company now, but it has its own CEO, it has its own board of directors. So they made the determination that it would be in the best interest of their business, right? They went to the SEC to get comments, correct? Right. The SEC came back and expanded those. The NASDAQ said that works counter to what our goal is.
Yeah, but this is not for NASDAQ as a business. This is NASDAQ's listing standards for any company that's trading on the NASDAQ.
Right, but they're a business who gets to determine. NASDAQ competes with the New York Stock Exchange.
But the point
NASDAQ competes.
But the point is, if it was actually, of course, they compete with a different exchange. So people go to the New York Stock Exchange or a new exchange that would form.
Or no exchange, yeah.
But the reality is, do you believe that NASDAQ's own, because this is all in the name of DI, do you think that their goal for every company, right? You have how many companies listed on the NASDAQ? 1,000 companies, whatever it is. Hundreds of companies.
There's only like 5,000 total public companies now, and that's a problem.
Right.
But that's a different conversation.
Actually, we do make it a lot harder to be a public company. Let's say hundreds of companies on the NASDAQ, right? Let's say hundreds of companies on the NASDAQ.
A couple thousand, yeah.
So in that case, why would for those let's say couple thousand companies on the NASDAQ, why would it be the case that only those three parameters of capital D diversity are interesting? Race, gender, and sexual orientation for all 2,000 companies, as opposed to NASDAQ could have done this, which is to say that
let's make money, because that's been, terrible over the course of human history.
Provide what type of diversity advances your own business's mission and provide that disclosure to investors. That's not what they said, which suggests to me, and I think to a lot of people who have issues with this movement, that it's not really just about making each business run better. It's also about accomplishing some other social objective that has nothing to do with the business. And maybe it's a good social objective, but it's
right.
Still,
Okay,
but
admit, you're contradicting yourself. You're contradicting yourself in so much of this, Vivek. You are, because NASDAQ is a company that's trying to make as much money as possible and to compete with the New York Stock Exchange, exchanges overseas and not listing at all, just being over the counter, right? They, in their own wisdom, for better or worse, like every other CEO and board of directors, decided.
Wait a minute, I've read this quickly, and I was, as you guys see, I thought we were talking about Miss Frizzle and the Magic School Bus. So as I said, another thing to consider is how many kids play these games. Kids aren't upset that Mrs. Freeze has a rainbow outfit. They just want to play a Batman adjacent game. Mrs. Freeze in a rainbow outfit? I definitely believe you, because that sounds exactly like the bullshit we see. Okay, so all right, that's a real okay, it's a real character, but I don't see any I don't know, somebody drop a link if we got something. Is this supposed to be like concept art or something? Oh wow, they finally actually gave me a good size picture. Yikes. Where are we at? Yeah, it's the kids that they love the microtransactions. Yeah, okay. No. What do you mean that's a real dude? When? And I believe you, that's a real dude. I'm just wondering, like, I'm just trying to picture that, because I see when you say Mr. Freeze to me, I think Arnold Schwarzenegger. So I just my mind doesn't know where to go with it.
And not listing at all, just being over the counter, right? They, in their own wisdom, for better or worse, like every other CEO and board of directors, decided, I can't speak for them, that by doing this, that will give more incentive for companies to list with us.
So that's a fair response. That's a fair response. That's a fair response.
That is the only response.
Let's continue pulling on the string. Yeah, let's keep pulling on the string, though. Let's keep pulling on the string because where the story ends.
Wait, what? What was his argument here?
I'll speak for them. For New York Stock Exchange, that's
okay, but
you're contradicting yourself. You're contradicting yourself in so much of this, Vivek. You are, because NASDAQ is a company that's trying to make as much money as possible and to compete with the New York Stock Exchange, exchanges overseas and not listing at all, just being over the counter, right? They, in their own wisdom, for better or worse, like every other CEO and board of directors, decided, I can't speak for them, that by doing this, that will give more incentive for companies to list with us.
So I think the argument he's making is we virtue signal so more people want to be with us. It's a big virtue signal.
That's a fair response. That's a fair response.
That is the only response.
Let's continue pulling on the string.
You can't possibly think anything different. I'm Mark Cuban. I'm a billionaire. What do you mean?
Pulling on the string, though. Let's keep pulling the string because where the story ends is it ends with the hand of government. That's right. So who then owns these?
Doesn't it always end with the hand of government? And yes, good call out. Not a projection, but an appeal to the 30. Dilly.
These public companies. Let's back it up. Because where the story ends is it ends with the hand of government. That's right. So who then owns these public companies? Who owns these companies? Who are the top shareholders of most public companies? Large asset managers like BlackRock, Vanguard, index fund managers. Okay. So who are the clients of these index fund managers? The largest clients of these index fund managers are none other than the likes of CalPERS. You'll know this, right? CalPERS is California's pension fund system, New York's pension fund system, et cetera. So here's what I'm surmising now is not what I'm saying now is not surmising. It's not conspiracy. There's just hard reality. CalPERS, the state of New York's pension funds, the pension funds that invest with the large asset managers effectively have said that you don't get to manage our money unless you adopt certain of these pre-specified commitments.
And you notice the nod there. Yeah. If you don't go along with our race-based bullshit, then you don't get to be part of the club.
The large asset managers effectively have said that you don't get to manage our money unless you adopt certain of these pre-specified commitments.
So you have that's what we care about. We don't care about the bottom line. We don't care about jobs. We don't care about people. We don't care about money. We care about diversity, equity, and inclusion.
Now, those large pools of capital, you're talking about $500 billion in the case of CalPERS, bigger than that.
Not only is this funny, because anyone saying I can tell you that Vivek is smarter because he's drinking out of aluminum and Cuban is drinking out of a used plastic full of estrogen, but he's also the climate change person. Where's your reusable? Oh, you must have left it on the PJ.
To manage our money unless you adopt certain of these pre-specified commitments. Now, those large pools of capital, you're talking about $500 billion in the case of CalPERS, bigger than that even. Those are not pure market actors, right? Those are arms of the government. Those are organs of the government. So when
BlackRock, you're saying BlackRock?
I'm saying CalPERS.
And CalPERS.
I'm saying CalPERS.
And Sizemore, you bring up a great point here. Saying eventually the audience speaks, and right now the audience that speaks is saying we don't even disagree. We're just tired of this shit. And this is this was inevitable. And that is going to grow and grow and grow and grow and grow and grow. You can see it on every cultural thing everywhere. You know, whether it's TikTok or Twitter or YouTube or I'll see a lot of skits on TikTok from people who used to be very non-political, non-whatever, and making jokes exactly about this stuff. Like, well, does it need? I mean, like, I'm all for the gay stuff, but does it need to be? I just saw one of a stand-up comedian who was. Let's see if I can find this. This will be amazing. I'll try to talk while I'm finding it, but dude was specifically talking about it, and again, not a anti woke guy or anything, but just a guy who is like we're saying, kind of just tired of this stuff. And I won't spoil the joke. Give me 2 seconds. Let's see if I can find it. You know, that doom scrolling is back there. It is back there somewhere. Come on, come on. All right, we'll give it 30 seconds. If I can't find it, then I feel like this was yesterday. No. Come on, baby. Come on, baby. We're almost there. This was yesterday. Okay, one more look. Hold on. We're almost there. Almost there. It's here somewhere. I bet you it's the one that's not showing me the thumbnail. It's worth it. If I can find... I found it. Okay. Hold on. I got you. And disciple chat. Boom. All right. So we're going to take a quick detour here.
I have gay friends and stuff, but I still don't like, I can see that, like Disney and stuff, putting just gay people in everything. Like percentage-wise, there's not enough of them to have to do that. There's statistically more real estate agents in America than there are gay people. I'm just saying, just imagine every fucking show and every commercial, they threw in a real estate agent. You would be like, what the fuck, dude? Are they trying to push this? Or like...
And listen to the crowd. How dare you?
How dare you?
Nope, they're loving it.
How was your day? Oh, I don't know. I just sold a house. It's like another fucking car. It doesn't even have anything to do with the plot.
So just a little detour, but exactly to what Sizemore was saying here is that it's not even the people who are hateful. It's not even the people who are I don't consider myself hateful towards this stuff, but I do see the problem with pushing it. But even the people who are not against it are getting tired of it, and even the people that are part of the club. There's a bunch of prominent gay conservatives on TikTok that are just really good at showing how tired they are of this bullshit. And that goes to why I'm still not convinced that marriage equality was the start of this slippery slope, because there was a decent period of time where gay dudes just wanted to be gay dudes and go and be alone and do whatever before the woke people, the people who wanted to take advantage of our sensitivities, turned it around. So I don't know. I'm still kind of working on that one in the old noggin. But as King of Bronze said, everybody has a breaking point.
Those are not pure market actors, right? Those are arms of the government. Those are organs of the government. So when
BlackRock, you're saying BlackRock?
I'm saying CalPERS.
And CalPERS.
I'm saying
CalPERS. CalPERS, a state government.
CalPERS,
but let me just say,
but not BlackRock. BlackRock, they're totally just 100% on the up and up.
Arm of the government, right?
There has recently been a Supreme Court decision, and there is a whole party of people saying all decisions go back to the state, and that's the way it should be, right?
But regardless of what my point is, you've got government.
But I know that's not your point. I just had to throw that in there.
I just wanted to say another thing that has nothing to do with the conversation that I just wanted to say because I wanted to say it.
And I'm a big fan of going deep on the recent Supreme Court decisions. We may have to do that another day because that's like a whole hour discussion.
For sure.
But the point is, you have government actors that are managing large swaths of money that tell these asset managers that are then bound by those constraints. So then when BlackRock votes their shares at each of those public companies, so here's a particular example. In 2022, they voted in favor of, this is actually a great example to respond to your argument, Mark. In 2022, Apple.
Did he make an argument?
Was asked by some sort of social activist group that held a couple of shares to adopt racial equity audits, to tell the investors what they want to know. Apple's board said this is nonsense. Okay, it's going to be a waste of our time and money. It's going to create litigation risk. It's going to restrict our ability to hire for the very best. No, we, the board of directors of Apple, don't want to do it.
Yeah, and before we move on, Sizemore saying it's because marriage equality was based on not judging people by what they are, but who they are as people. Now it's all about what you are. It doesn't matter who you are. It's all about that checklist. I think we got a comment of the night. Absolutely, man. Brilliantly said. And this is a very big reason why I'm very hesitant, even though it makes sense. It makes sense to draw the line from, it's gay stuff and now it's LGBT, so marriage equality. It makes sense, but I think that is an overly simplistic way to think about things, and I fear that will push us as individuals into an un-American mindset. I think it is un-American to not want gay people to be able to get married. There is absolutely no reason to care except for religion, and that is not how America works. So if you're against it, then cool. Be against whatever the fuck you want. But to tell people that they can't do what they want to do with their lives because your religion says that your sky daddy said it's wrong, that's not how we do America. Welcome to America, Jack. If you want to live in a theocracy, head on over to Saudi Arabia and see how you do there. But here, we're Americans. You got to like how well-spoken Vivek is. Have since day one. Day one.
It's going to restrict our ability to
Come on. That's going to piss me off.
hire for
Come on. What do we... No. Okay.
the very best. No, we, the board of directors of Apple, don't want to do it.
Wait, I missed that's how much that distracted me. I need to back this up.
Equity audits to tell the investors, just tell the investors what they want to know.
Mm-hmm.
Apple's board said this is nonsense. Okay, it's going to be a waste of our time and money. It's going to create litigation risk. It's going to restrict our ability to hire for the very best. No, we, the board of directors of Apple, don't want to do it. Nonetheless, BlackRock,
Actually, I disagree with you, Andy Film, but I'll start and we'll come back to it if it becomes relevant.
and State Street and a number of other asset managers vote for that proposal anyway, after which Apple's board of directors says, okay, all right, well, we got to reconsider now, do the racial equity audit. To me, the idea that is just a private business making decisions without external influence, because BlackRock's voting that way, in part because their clients, like CalPERS and the state of New York, demand they behave that way.
Well, it's just a coincidence. They just happen to want the same exact thing.
Yet those clients aren't really profit motivated alone. They're also solving for governmental objectives. Suggests that a lot of this basis for corporations doing it, you're saying that just reveals that it's in their best interest. I don't think is actually true.
This is America.
Because they're being pressured to do it by government actors. That's the point.
I know you think
And stop acting like a fucking communist.
there's all these ideological perpetrators, right?
I do.
Where they're out there. Yeah, obviously. And so, but there's some other things that have to happen behind all this. One, the people at CalPERS, the person in charge has got to get the return or they lose their job, right?
They don't, though.
So-
At CalPERS, that's the whole point. Because they do if they're at like a hedge fund, like the one that you started or the one that I
Okay, well,
worked
let's
at.
just say,
But at
so-
CalPERS,
Was that a shot? Was that a shot? They do if they're with you, but
the things that have to happen behind all this. One, the people at CalPERS, the person in charge has got to get the return or they lose their job,
they
right?
don't, though.
So-
At CalPERS, that's the whole point. Because they do if they're at like a hedge fund, like the one that you started or the
right. So he's talking about this ROE score. Well, they're going to lose their jobs, but only because you made it that way. Only because you made it that way.
one that I
Okay, well,
worked
let's
at.
just say,
But at
so-
CalPERS, that's the whole problem.
okay, I'll
is
give
it
you that.
starts
I'll
with
give
this
you that.
managerial
You would
class
think,
in the government.
you would think, I know that
Civil
more
service
ideological
protections and all
perpetrators.
that,
Yeah,
right?
I know, more ideological
They
perpetrators.
can't be fired. I mean,
get that.
if somebody's not doing a good job, I'd love to fire them. In the government, it doesn't. You can't
I
do
don't-
it, which is unfortunate.
I'm pretty sure that the head of CalPERS, there's been turnover there, but I don't know for certain.
Yeah.
Okay, so let's just put them aside. BlackRock, obviously they have to perform, or Larry Fink is going to fire them, or people are going to pull their money, and that's one. Two, I'm pretty sure, but I'm not positive that CalPERS doesn't own more than 5% of Apple or any company, do they?
CalPERS is not directly. No, they
No,
invest in
and neither
BlackRock and
does Black-
Vanguard.
So let's
But they
I have no idea what the fuck they're talking about. So CalPERS. Let's get a wiki. CalPERS. The California Public Education Retirement System is an agency and a California executive branch that, quote, manages pension and health benefits for more than 1.5 million California public employees, retirees, and their families. In the fiscal year 2020 and 21, CalPERS paid over $27.4 billion in retirement benefits and over $9.74 billion in health benefits. They manage the largest public pension fund in the states, more than $469 billion as of June 2021. It's known for shareholder activism. Okay. So okay, they're an investment firm, and put your money with them, and they promise to make you more, and then you retire and you're good.
CalPERS is not directly. No, they
Heading out, TM. Thank you so much for hanging out with us. You have a good one.
No.
invest.
So while we're paused, I do want to address this. So Andy Fallon said the government should have nothing to do with marriage. It's just more control and taxation. So the reason I disagree with this is because the government offers things with taxation, and so unless you are going to say that marriage can be a secular thing, then there needs to be a way for those who are married in the church to have the equal footing, unless you're saying that marriage comes with absolutely no tax benefits at all. So maybe I don't necessarily disagree, but I would need that caveat that married people don't get any government benefits, because if they do, then then the government does have to come and be part of a marriage, because then the only people who are in the church can get those benefits. So So I'm also saying we should get rid of the IRS. I mean, I'm with you there. Nick said, why was Obama's skin color a good thing, but Vivek's skin color is somehow a bad thing? At least it is to that bitch who said she wouldn't vote for him. Well, because the left pretends to like dark-skinned people while they use them to their own advantage, while the people on the right tend to not really care unless they can use it to raise their own platform. And that is exactly what Ann Coulter did. Business licenses, hunting licenses, every other license there is, because those are just back taxes also. Agreed. So it does sound like we're on the same page of you saying that marriage should not give you any government benefits. So if you are saying that, then I completely agree. If you are saying that if you are married, then you should get these benefits, then the government does have to be involved for secular individuals who get married.
Apple, pretty sure, but I'm not positive, that CalPERS doesn't own more than 5% of Apple or any company, do they?
CalPERS does not directly. No, they invest in BlackRock and Vanguard. But they invest,
so indirectly.
But together, BlackRock, State Street, Vanguard own about 20% of most public companies, or 15.
Not of most of the total market cap.
Of total market cap adjusted. Yeah, but you could even add other firms like Invesco that also are playing by the same.
Right, but I don't think they own more than 5% because all the rules of how they participate.
Yeah, it'll be single-digit percentages for each of these.
No, but once you go beyond 4.99999, all the rules change, right?
Sure.
Because you've made. So my point is, they're small. They're not so big. Now they're influential. So they have a lot
of 8-9% in certain cases, but not single digit is your point.
So if you're a little lost, I am also a little lost. They're kind of talking, about stuff that you kind of have to be in the in the industry to really, really know. But I think the concepts that they're talking about are universal enough that as they make their point with their bottom line, then we can suss out, like, okay, even if we don't know much about CalPERS and how much of Apple employees' pensions are with them, then when they make the point, then we can at least say, oh, okay, this is what you were trying to say. But, it does, benefit us to have two people who are very high in this this world of owning companies and selling companies and all that stuff, to be having these conversations, especially when they're both on the opposite sides of things, or at least this thing. Shout out to Elizabeth Ellington. Welcome to the party. This is only a few hours ago. This was this morning. So, like I said, I'm not a news channel, but I do try to keep things as relevant as I can. Welcome to the party. Anyfilm said Vivek is a storybook, man. He is the first clean, articulate brown man to run for president. Yeah, I mean, it brings, just does something to me inside. Nick said if Christianity is really under attack, then why is Vivek not being Christian his biggest hurdle to overcome? Maybe Christianity isn't really being attacked like some people want to portray. Bingo. It's almost like this whole freedom of speech thing gets, when it comes to religion, we put this in a little box. This is sacred to us. You can't make fun of us for this thing. Just like the wokies do the exact same thing with their gender. It's almost like there's losers, and again, I was going to say a word that I'm not allowed to say on here. Join as a member to be in the after party where you'll hear everything I say. But if you're a fucking loser, who thinks that, oh, this one thing about me, nobody can say anything, then you're gay. If that's religion, you're still gay. If that's your trans identity, you're gay and not in the way that you want. Get the fuck over it and have a personality. Shout out to our sponsor, Outdoing Himself, gifting 5 memberships. Thank you so much. Wait, you want this? Are you that lazy? Look how lazy this motherfucker is. Come on, bro. Eat it. Of course, every donation comes with a treat for Marty. What's the matter? Is it raining? What's going on, bro? Eat it. No? All right, we'll leave that right here for him. Actually, I'll leave it right here. I guarantee you, as soon as I start talking, as soon as I scoot back in, he's going to eat it up. But thank you very, very much. Shout out to Bridget, the Camcast, Patricia, Chad, and Dorkachu. Thank you for being here, and you are now a member. So make sure you join that Discord server because the membership gives you full access, including the after party, as soon as we are done here. Thank you so very, very much, sir.
Influential. So they have a lot
like
of
8-9% in certain cases, but not single digit is your point.
I don't know for sure,
Yeah.
right? But let's just say how that still goes to the heart of how do you value a company, right? There's
money. And there's one other thing. Money.
couple ways to value a public company. It could just be supply and demand, which means the more demand you create for the stock, the price goes up, right?
Yeah.
And then there's the discounted net cash flows of the net present value of the discounted net cash flows, right? Which go into determine the stock price if you do it on Benjamin Graham type style, right? That's what makes the decisions.
That's what it does. I agree with that.
Right, but it does. Look, when all these variables.
I think you have all.
Yeah, right. I may not agree with what you say, but I will defend to the death your right to say it. Seems like most have forgotten that in one way or another. And yeah, it's really sad because when I was calling myself a conservative, I thought I was aligned with the most of the anti-woke crowd in saying they were wrong, not because they're saying the things that we don't like, but because the things that they're saying are wrong. And so if you're saying the things that are wrong, in meaning you're not allowed to make fun of this, you're gay.
Well, that's what it does.
I agree with that.
Right, but it does. Look, when all these variables.
I think
you have all these, as much as you want to make these guys, as much as you want to make these. So you've got CalPERS and you've got some other large states. State of Texas does it the exact opposite way. They put their finger on the scale, by saying banks can't do this, banks can't do that. So it goes both ways. But the realm of the world today, or the country today, is we're letting states make those decisions. And so if you want to take Texas not allowing companies to invest, or not allowing banks to have DI programs or whatever. Yeah. Right, whatever it is. Right? It goes both ways.
It's a longer discussion.
Let me finish.
I like this.
No.
Yeah. Shout out to the Camcast. Welcome to the party. Long time no see. Always good to see you. Hey, come and join us in the after party, bro. It's been a minute. I miss you, homie.
Yeah. Right. Whatever it is, right? It goes both ways.
It's a longer discussion.
Let me finish.
I like this.
No, but let me just finish that real quick.
Oh, let me just finish, please.
Okay. So then all of a sudden, it still comes down to what's the company's worth. What is the company worth, right? Because
money.
If BlackRock can talk until they're blue in their face, they can make proposals till they're blue in the face. But
if they're not making money, then it doesn't really fucking matter, right? Oh, no. It doesn't matter if they're making money. They got to meet that ROE, return on equity.
BlackRock can talk until they're blue in their face. They can make proposals till they're blue in the face. But if the company can't perform and reach the thresholds for performance that they need to, what BlackRock said doesn't matter, because big enough to get in, big enough to get out, right? So while we can point the gun at them and say, oh, this is awful what they're doing and saying, it doesn't matter.
So
I cannot wait. Don't let me, if I forget, do not let me forget to check out some of the comments here. I cannot wait to see what people are saying about this.
Common ground. This area of common ground. This area of common ground is actually still a belief in the market to be able to solve a lot of these problems. So actually, one of the companies I started since my time at Roy.
Wait. Okay, so I must have missed something. I'll go and I'll assume that Vivek understood that a lot better than I did. But Cuban ended that with the notion of we both believe that the market will fix things. So why do we need DEI? Why do we need it? The market will fix everything as long as the government's out of the way.
To be able to solve a lot of these problems.
Yeah, right.
This area of common ground is actually still a belief in the market to be able to solve a lot of these problems.
I must not understand that as well as he do. So let's see if he clears that up for us. I'm gonna let you finish with BlackRock have the best video of the year. Which one? The Matthew Crooks one?
So actually, one of the companies I started since my time at Roivant was a company called Strive. Are you familiar with that or not? Okay. So actually, to your point, because this issue itched me, I wrote a book called Woke Inc. about a lot of what I saw as
Nick, been there so many times. All you have to do is realize that makes you a better person. Continue to strive to be a better person. That's it. Woke Inc.
To your point, because this issue itched me, I wrote a book called Woke Inc. about a lot of what I saw as some of the inefficiency introduced by the committee class that's taken over a lot of our culture.
What is this with all these classes?
The committee class.
You got Rufo, Dreesen. Like there's this.
Yeah, it's almost like everybody's fucking seeing the same exact thing. And you're like, oh, what is this thing that I don't see that everybody else sees? You guys must be crazy. How do you say that out loud and then think that you just made sense? It's almost like these people know what they're talking about.
Inefficiency introduced by the committee class that's taken over a lot of our culture.
What is this with all these classes?
The committee class.
You got Rufo, Dreesen. Like there's this whole ideological group that meets on Sundays, right? And like
it's the smoke-filled room. You conspiracy theorist, Mark. So
no, it's like all these people.
It's just plain weird, okay, Vivek? It's just weird. You're so weird. It's just plain weird.
That like went to Ivy League schools and got trained by former Black Panthers that now are in.
You have a problem with the Black Panthers? Whoa. I thought we, on those of us who are in favor of DEI, the Black Panthers, they're amazing, right?
And got trained by former Black Panthers that now are infiltrating the HR departments, and they're all grouped together somehow.
Some of these HR departments, we just need to downsize them by about 80%. But anyway, what my point was actually going to be overlapping with one thing you said is believing in the market for people to at least solve these problems.
I don't think he does believe in the market. I think believing in DEI is not trusting the market. Maybe I don't understand the market. That's a real possibility. But it seems like saying we need DEI is saying the market itself is not enough. Am I wrong? Sizemore said ex-employees of Ubisoft said most employees don't like the woke employees, but they're afraid of angering them because they're quick to retaliate. So, I mean, we just got to be quicker to retaliate in a more socially acceptable way that still gets our point across. Like I was saying, just with this conversation, you know, if you come into the into any conversation, like, hey, you need to leave me, you need to let me talk when I want to talk, then it's not gonna do anything. But like we say, when they are quick to retaliate and then you retaliate to their retaliation in a way that is socially acceptable and you let them hang their own, use their words to hang themselves, we win. We win. That is why the marketplace of ideas needs to exist. DEI, ESG, wokeness in general, looks to destroy that notion because they know that you cannot exist in that competition. Since they never get checked, they promote quickly. That's why all these franchises that were amazing when we were kids are dog shit now. Yep. And same thing's happening with everything in pop culture. But that is going to, we see the pendulum swings. And we see that, like we were saying, normies, Democrats, liberals, and even gay and trans people are getting tired of this shit. So understand that we are now in a different place than we were in 2019 when it comes to wokeness. You don't need to be as I'm going to say the word obsessed for lack of a better word. You don't need to be as obsessed with wokeness as we all were in 2019, because now we've made our point, and now we need to see how is that playing out and react appropriately. If we still are, oh my God, the Olympics is so woke, oh, I'm so offended, then we have lost the entire battle of pearl clutching. The entire battle. Because now it's just you pearl clutch over this bullshit and they pearl clutch over that bullshit. You're both equally fucking betas. Beta. Context said, as much as this guy loves DEI, I wonder what he'd say if Vivek brought up Kamala being a DEI hire. Well, I don't know if you can see this, but we've got the final part here. It's gonna come up, so stick around. And we are past that 2-hour mark. So if you want to make it there, it's on you guys. Go to actually complain about it, then we can safely throw away his ideas on the garbage. Yep. Something tells me that's not gonna happen though. So I think he said it best. Why didn't he do the things that he said he needed to do without DEI telling him he should do it? Is he racist? Yes. Mark Cuban is a racist. Mark Cuban is a racist. Morty, you're sitting on a thing and it's ruined my dramatic thing. Mark Cuban is a fucking racist! Sorry.
Out of these HR departments, we just need to downsize them by about 80%. But anyway.
Shout out to a TV Viewerski. You missed Mark Cuban exposing himself as a racist and saying that I need DEI to look for black people because I never would look for black people unless it was for DEI. The only way I would ever look for a woman or a black woman or a trans or whatever else is if, they force me to do it because I'm racist. That's why. Shout out to Guam Tech with the Venmo. Said more show. We will get. All right, he's popping his head up. Let's see if he's going to eat. Let's see if he's going to eat. Come on, buddy. Eat it up. There you go. No, but it is right here. Of course, he is going to get every treat he deserves. Thank you so very, very much, sir. He also is a dimwit. There we go. Membership has its privileges. Free chat, maybe. There you go. 14 months. I think you are number one. The earliest member of this channel. Shout out to you. Shout out to all of you, and especially the members and the donators, guys. I appreciate you so much. But even if you're just hanging out, that means a lot too. I can't do this with just 6 people here. So everybody here, you are very much appreciated.
Now, or infiltrating the HR departments, and they're all grouped together.
The HR department, some of these HR departments, we just need to downsize them by about 80%. But anyway, what my point was actually going to be overlapping with one thing you said is believing in the market for people to at least solve these problems. So the company I started was Strive, which basically says we'll offer the same kinds of index funds that BlackRock and Vanguard offer, but without proxy voting or without shareholder engagement that favors ESG goals.
There you go. It's almost like you can do this stuff on your own. Shout out to Indy Film with the $5 super chat. Thank you so much. Oh, he's looking. Is he gonna eat? Oh God! Get it out of the way. Here. Come on, bud. Yeah. What's the matter? I know what it is. So remember how I was talking about how my neighbor gave me some corn on the cob? So what had happened was that bag that I was using to butter and garlic salt it up, I left it on the desk in my room, and when I went to work, he got it. So he's probably feeling sick as hell because he ate some shit that he ain't supposed to eat. But shout out again to Indie Film. Thank you so very, very much. Hey, we got Nuclear in the building. Welcome to the party. I'm a troll through and through. That's what I do. and I don't know what else rhymes with you. So welcome to the party. We are hanging out with Vivek Ramaswamy and the woke DEI advocate, Mark Cuban.
Basically says we'll offer the same kinds of index funds that BlackRock and Vanguard offer, but without proxy voting or without shareholder engagement that favors ESG goals.
Great, good for you.
Maximize value. And you know what? There's been, from a retail perspective, there's been, launched less than 2 years ago was its first fund. The AUM has grown at a faster rate than JP Morgan in their first year when they entered the same line of business because the market exists for it. So
good for you. It's almost like you can do this without somebody forcing you to be diverse. That's not diverse. Diversity is only skin color. Diversity is only skin color. Quote, Mark Cuban.
You get to do that, and so does BlackRock.
And as long as we're in a free country and everyone's playing by the same set of rules with the government tipping the scales, I'm really happy with that. If the government,
they are.
The problem is the government tipping the scales is where it actually bothers me, right? When you're talking states, right? Well, different world. Maybe a year ago we would have had a different conversation. In
Cope harder, bro. Cope harder.
Canada,
but they're allowed to do that. They're allowed to do that now. But I do believe in the market to have that power.
I do believe in the market solving problems. And so there's an area of common ground. Here's where the market is not allowed to solve the problem, though, right? Because even if you're a contractor with the government, so even outside the realm of asset management now, anybody who's a federal contractor, and that's about 20, people think that's a small percentage of the workforce. It's a big number. Yeah, it's a big number. It's about 20% of the workforce works for an employer.
What did you think he was going to say after he said, most people think it's a small thing? You had to jump in. No, actually, it's a big thing. What did you think he was going to say? Shut the fuck up. It is not your turn to talk.
Small percentage of the workforce.
It's a big number.
Yeah, it's a big number. It's about 20% of the workforce works for an employer that could be classified as a federal contractor bound by these rules. You have to, not because the market says so, but because the government says so, actually have certain goals that you have to hit when it relates to the diversity or the demographic attributes of your workforce.
I completely agree. Sizemore said forced diversity breeds the opposite desired reaction. Yup.
That's not coming from the market. That's coming from the government. And so all my Mark is
let's hear that again.
You have to, not because the market says so, but because the government says so, actually have certain goals that you have to hit when it relates to the diversity or the demographic attributes of your workforce. That's not coming from the market. That's coming from the government. And so all my point is, Mark, is we can't just say, hey, just because a company is doing it, it's the product of the free market that's told us that's what consumers want.
You're exactly right. There's a government. There are contractors who make choices whether or not they want to work with the government or not. My first company, we could have gone and we could have worked with the government. I chose not to, not because we weren't diverse or anything, because all the bureaucracy that I would have had.
You don't want the government telling you what to do.
No, it's not that. There's just too much bureaucracy.
It's not that. You want the government telling what you, well, I guess, yeah, based on everything that you've said, you absolutely need the government telling you what to do, because if not, you're going to be exposed as a racist.
Too many forms, right? There's just that. Same with the streaming industry. We could have done contracting for them. Too much bureaucracy.
And I don't think the government should be tilting the scales. And when you have 20% of the workforce employed by a company, then when you say, hey, the company is just behaving this way because the market's telling them to, all my point is that's not the full story, because you do have the invisible hand of government.
Contractors
not
don't
the
have
the market behind it.
Contractors don't have to do business with the government.
They don't have to, but you're less competitive versus your competitors.
No, you're probably more competitive.
Contracts.
You're probably more competitive because you don't have to have the overhead to deal with the bureaucracy.
Well, but you also get lower cost of capital with a fat margin because they have less competitors bidding for those contracts. And so all I'm saying is,
that's your choice.
So the
that's your choice.
Even speaking as a citizen, right? The government's not some exogenous agency. It's what's actually responsive to us.
I'm not saying government is efficient.
I don't want the government imposing that. I want them to get the lowest cost provider of IT without regard to what the racial composition.
Back, right? In every industry, the best product with the lowest cost.
Is right.
A lot of that goes back decades. Some of it's more recent, but a lot of it goes back decades, right? Generations, right?
This goes back to the 60s.
Right. Yeah. So I read the whole book. What the hell was it called? I forget. Where basically it said the Civil Rights Act led to us losing all these rights. But what they didn't answer was, what's a better way? Mm-hmm. What is a better way?
DEI, that's the better way.
Because I'm a big believer that we're only as strong as our weakest link as a country. That the kids that we have, if they're not fed.
So let's bring everybody down to that level of our weakest link. What? We're only as strong as our weakest link. So let's make sure that the people who can be strong are just as weak as our weakest link. Instead of making our weak links stronger, let's make our strong links weaker.
What? Stupid.
As our weakest link as a country. That the kids that we have, if they're not fed, if they're not clothed, if they don't have shelter, if don't have daycare, if they don't have access to decent schools, then the whole country will fail. Not the whole country will fail, but we're going to always struggle to raise up our GDP, to raise up, the quality of life in this country, because the outliers make things more difficult. And when you're in a country now of 330 million people, just 1, 2, 3, 5% is a whole lot of people you have to deal with. So going back to what you said in terms of programs that try to put their thumb on the scale, when you're trying to solve a problem like that, how do you lift up people who have been discriminated against for generations?
You just don't be racist. And when they apply to work for you, then you judge them on their merits. That's how. Is this a joke question? How do you help people who have been discriminated against? Don't discriminate against them.
Up people who have been discriminated. When you're trying to solve a problem like that, how do you lift up people who have been discriminated against for generations? Not just Black Americans who, with a legacy of slavery,
women,
but immigrants and others who have come over
Immigrants do better than your average American. Legal immigrants, that is.
here, who have been shit on, right? Legally and illegally.
No, I don't give a fuck about if you're here illegally. Get the fuck out. You don't deserve a job here. You don't deserve the tax benefits. You don't deserve the infrastructure. My parents had to go through a process to get here, to provide me with an amazing, amazing life. And you spit on what they deserve, what they earned. Because an old senile fuck and a transracial fucking whore said, come on in, come on in. No, thank you. No, thank you. And if that's their goal, they're definitely dividing me from this fucking asshole.
And others who have come over here who have been shit on, right? Legally and illegally. How do you try to change that to lift them up? Because in my mind,
you don't lift them up. You provide them with the opportunity to lift themselves up. You provide them with the opportunity, the equal opportunity to do it themselves. Some of them will, and some of them won't. And when I say them, I mean people, you fucking racist.
And I don't have a model to prove this, but in my mind, it's going to be
really. You don't have a model to prove this, really? I am flabbergasted. TV said so. Everyone but the white man. Wait, isn't he? Yeah, I'm sure he could give up a house or two to historically marginalized peoples. His guilt is showing in his agitation.
Bingo.
Well said, sir. Well said. Let's go back one more time. I just want to see this. How do you lift up
programs that try to put their thumb on the scale? When you're trying to solve a problem like that, how do you lift up people who have been discriminated against for generations? Not just Black Americans who, with a legacy of slavery, but immigrants and others who have come over here who have been shit on, right? Legally and illegally. How do you try to change that to lift them up? Because in my mind, and I don't have a model to prove this, but in my mind, it's going to be a lot more difficult.
Unfairness. It's going to be a lot more unfair gerrymandering of how we give people jobs. This is the type of mentality. The only response to past discrimination is present and future discrimination. And like Sizemore said, forced diversity, I'd agree, he'd argue, I'd agree, breeds the opposite desired reaction. This is where you're going to get black people being, you're going to get white people being resentful of black people because Mark Cuban wants to be the good guy and is shitting on people who deserve work for people who don't deserve that work, or at least not as much. It's so straightforward that I think one of the greatest hoaxes in American history is convincing people that supply and demand, that basic market structures are not real. That we need to get in there and regulate everything and form it as if there's no such thing as nature, as there's no such thing as human nature. There's no such thing as instinct. There's no such thing as desire to live, to be better. Not in everyone. And hey, this is America, Jack. If you want to be a homeless fucking loser, go ahead.
Have a model to prove this, but in my mind, it's going to be a lot more difficult for all citizens. It's going to be a lot more expensive for all citizens, and it's going to create a lot worse issues for all of us if you don't lift up the bottoms. So back in the 60s, they did what they thought was right. They were
No Child Left Behind. That's done so well for us.
If you don't lift up the bottoms. So back in the 60s, they did what they thought was right. They were wrong in a lot of respects, but that was the shot they took, and we've gotten to where we are today, right?
So is it possible in any realm that the way that they were wrong, even though they had good intentions, that you were wrong despite having good intentions? Or no, you're just perfect.
Now, we can bitch about it all we want, but either we come up with solutions to solve it. Just saying it's wrong.
We don't need a solution. We have a solution. It's called capitalism. It's called meritocracy. That is the solution.
To have the government on there for a problem they tried to solve 60 years ago,
but
that
that
doesn't solve
problem
anything.
That is the problem, that the government tried to solve the problem. Let the market be the market.
On there for a problem they tried to solve 60 years ago,
but
doesn't
that problem
solve anything.
and this is a longer discussion, right? But many of those problems, what happens is when you create the bureaucracy to solve the problem, once the problem has been solved or mostly solved, the right answer is to move on and celebrate it.
So do you think discrimination has been mostly solved?
Interrupting again. I'm trying to listen to the person who hosts this podcast, Mark.
Is to move on and celebrate it.
So do you think discrimination has been mostly solved?
Well, I think it has. So
Lost.
This is a
lost in the annals of bullshit that is going under the voice of I'm louder technique. Yep, exactly. Just lost in the annals of time. We will never, ever, 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 ever know what Vivek was going to say there. But hey, at least we know for sure that Mark Cuban is a racist. So as I said, it reminds me of the analogy of the monkey trying to save the fish from drowning. Oof. Comment of the night again. Spot on. I've never heard this before. I don't know how I missed this, but a brilliant analogy. The monkey trying to save a fish from drowning. And see, another joke I was about to make that I can't say on YouTube. Join the Discord. Anyway, I don't understand why nobody on the left understands let the free market works, because they are or that the free market works because they are brainwashed. They are brainwashed into this identity politics bullshit. The systemically racist, our systems are systematic racist. That made as much sense as a left-wing anything. Yeah, that's a good one. Ask him to define discrimination, because he definitely didn't know what diversity was. We were talking about diversity of thought. That's not diversity. Yes, sir. Yes, actually, it is.
The problem has been solved or mostly solved. The right answer is to move on and celebrate it.
So do you think discrimination has been mostly solved?
I think he was going to say something about how bureaucracy. He said the word bureaucracy. So I think he was going to just talk about red tape. But I'm still pissed because I wanted to hear the end of that sentence.
Is to move on and celebrate it.
So do you think discrimination has been mostly solved?
Well, I think it has. So this is a deeper question, okay, and it's important.
He thinks he got him. Oh, so you think discrimination is solved? No, I'm just saying your proposed solution will not get us there.
This is a deeper question, okay, and it's important. I think it has gotten below the level that it was useful to try to use government tools to solve. So there was a time and place, right? So I'll give you an analogy because we're both in healthcare, right? Or you're in healthcare now and I used to be. When the body's fighting off a virus, Okay. At a certain point, the body needs to mount an immune response to the virus. But when that immune response continues long after the virus is mostly cleared,
Right.
you actually harm the organ itself. That's effectively what I see happening in the nation in our fight against discrimination. Does some level of
shout out to the pure bloods. Put a 1 in the chat if you are a pure blood. Cheers to you for standing up to the bullshit. Shout out to the pure bloods.
Hideous racial discrimination still exists in this country in multiple different directions. It does. But our systematic response, pretending like it's still 1960 or 1860, that actually creates more of that same division. And so
you're making my point.
Hey, shout out to Sizemore. Where is it? Oh, yeah, exactly. Exactly. The point that Vivek is making. Exactly. Shout out to the pure bloods in the building.
Systematic response, pretending like it's still 1960 or 1860, that actually creates more of that same division. And so
you're making my point.
No, he's not. He's not making your point unless you are the absolute worst person at articulating your point on the face of the earth.
Actually creates more of that same division. And
so you're making my point. You're making my point.
At a certain point, we got to let it automatically, let the market solve it, to borrow your point, right? Don't tell a business what they can or can't do or what they must do. Smart entrepreneurs. Actually, this is just to bring your own point. If we got rid of this categories in the Civil Rights Act, right, of race, gender, sexual orientation, now included religion, national origin, and you say we don't need that because believing in what you do and also what I do is in the power of capitalism, that's an opportunity for a different business owner to say, hey, I get to hire all these great people. Why do we need the government still creating an EEOC?
We don't.
To be able to monitor those decisions, to make sure that enough minorities are hired in an era where businesses themselves, out of their own self-interest, could get to the same place. Now, aren't you talking?
Because Mark Cuban is racist, and if they don't tell him he needs an ROE score, then he will just hire white men. That's what he said. That's what he said. And yeah, he was poor, worked hard, and a smart guy to become a billionaire. And now he's this guy. Guess he forgot how he got here. I mean, it's easy when you got that much money. When is the last time that you think Mark Cuban went to a grocery store? Realistically. Context that I roll with a guy who I roll with a guy wearing a fully vaccinated shirt. I just wanted to point at it and tell him, quote, and that's why I destroyed you for the whole round. Got him! What a beta! I mean, there's see, okay, so okay, shout out to Austin Hinneman. I forget what his actual name is, but if he has one more video in a series that he's doing, I think I'm gonna do that tomorrow. There was this girl on TikTok who was like, can any leftist guys, like doing a dating application thing, can any leftist guy just like show me a video of them doing something manly? And so this guy, Austin, who, he's a country singer, Trump guy, whatever, is like kind of playing the skit as if he's doing he's hiring for the applicants. So we'll take a bunch of responses to the original girl's video of a bunch of leftists being like, I am doing something manly. I'm doing the dishes. And it's all stuff like that. It's all stuff like that. It's so hilarious, but it's quick. So I don't know if it's enough for a full thing, but I mean, we were on for 3 hours last night, so maybe it is the way to go. Anyville said, if a business doesn't hire the best qualified people, then it's likely they will fail. Unless they have globalist support because they have a good ROE score. That is what's happening here. That is why Mark Cuban is defending this. Because this doesn't apply to him as long as he does the things that they tell him to do. That's the world we're living in. That's the world we're living in. Business is no longer business. Business is virtue signaling, and it's from the top down. So if you have a small business, then supply and demand is it. If you're up on the, if you own shit on the NASDAQ, if you own shit or something like that, then the game is ESG and DEI. Good point. Trump was never a regular guy, but yet somehow he's a real person. It's almost like it's a type of personality, and it's not necessarily tied to how you grew up. Maybe it has more to do with the principles that you carry through life as you go through these experiences, more than the experiences themselves. I don't know. It makes sense to me. Hey, shout out to Joe Mama with the $10 super chat. I don't know. Rarely is the question or is the answer. I don't know, but he's sick because he got into the garbage where he shouldn't have been. Let's see. Is he eating? No, he's eating. But we got treats here for him. Everybody's treat. Oh! Every treat is accounted for. Come on, eat it, motherfucker. No, he's feeling a little sick, but they're all here, and I promise, he will get them. But thank you so very, very much, and welcome to the party, sir. Always good to see you. Yeah, I'm gonna say it's not always the money that makes you that way. It's yeah. Well, there was okay. So in the thing, so what had happened was I think it was the night when I was doing the Brett Cooper thing. Right. And I was in a bad mood because the stream didn't go well. So I was like, fuck it. I'm ordering a full rack of ribs from Chili's. I want my baby back. And I was like, fuck it. DoorDashing that shit. I want food. I want a comfort food. I just want to stuff my face. So it comes in the plastic thing. Right. And it comes in a big paper bag. So I had, I can't keep a waste paper basket near the bed or near, where I'm because if I leave the house, then he'll get into it. So I usually have some type of paper bag or a plastic bag where I'll throw, like waste if I'm eating something, a wrapper or whatever. And I just got to remember to put it either on the desk where I can't reach it or in the bathroom and close the door. But I only so I put it in the bathroom and closed the door when I went to work, but it didn't latch. So he pushed in and he was eating literally moldy rib bones and those corn cobs from last week. I mean, he's got an iron stomach. He'll be fine. I'm not worried at all. But so you sure it's not hearing Mark's idiocy that is making Morty sick? Yes, but only because he can't hear anything. It is silent in my house. All this is coming through here. So that's why the thunder affects him so much. And that's why this chair has been empty for the last 3 months, because he's been here the entire time, because it's silent. And then he hears, the soundboard. He don't hear any of this. He just hears me yelling at nothing. Everyone says, wait, were you eating a full rack of ribs in your bed? Yeah, goddamn right I was. And it was fantastic.
To be able to monitor those decisions to make sure that enough minorities are hired in an era where businesses themselves, out of their own self-interest, get to the same place. Now, aren't you talking out of both sides of your mouth, right? I mean, if I may say
I'll tell you exactly why. No, that's fine. And I don't mind to give and take.
Yeah, we're just having fun.
And so, right. So first of all, you're saying the Civil Rights Act worked.
I'm saying that.
Where is he going with this? Okay, wait, you're saying the Civil Rights Act worked? Yeah. I think.
So first of all, you're saying the Civil Rights Act worked.
Yes. Name a right that white people have that minorities don't.
I'm saying that. I'm not
because you're saying it got to the point where
I'm saying that.
You just said we've got to the point where maybe we got too far.
Yeah.
Yes.
Whether that was the right answer, the culture was changing anyway, we could debate. But do we actually need it now? I think there was a strong.
Okay, well, let me finish. So let's go.
He was talking. What do you mean? You asked him a question. Do you think the Civil Rights Act worked? And then he's talking, and then you say, let me finish. You are insufferable, dude. You are insufferable.
More persuasive case back then, I would say. I'll admit that. There's more persuasive
that's fine. So now let's go to the medicine example, right? Yeah. The thing about medicine, it's the only place where you can be an expert where you're right 5% of the time, right? Then you're a great doctor. And so when you're trying to figure out what that point is where the body has too strong an immune response, you don't know until Sometimes it's too late until after you're sick, whatever it may be. And on the flip side, you may not know until it's too late if the body hasn't generated enough of an immune response. And there's issues there. And the same thing applies here. It's hard to thread the needle to know exactly where to stop or even if you should stop. And so to just shit on the whole thing, that's the problem I have, right? You can say, look, let's try to solve a problem. How do we get to the point where discrimination doesn't exist? Fine, that's a worthy.
We don't get to a place where discrimination doesn't exist. That is not humanity. How do we get to a place where we're in utopia? If we just give all the blacks and Mexicans and women all the jobs, then discrimination will be gone. That is literally your argument. What?
Stupid.
Amy Phillips said, I used to love Cuban on that investment show, Shark Tank. But when he started talking politics and all of this crap, I was done. How many Asians are on his basketball team? 0. When to stop? Now, yeah. Now would be a great time. Now would be a fantastic time. Yep, we know their arguments, and they don't know ours. It's almost like we pay attention and they just listen to the people on top. It's just plain weird.
Get to the point where discrimination doesn't exist. Fine, that's a worthy goal. But the answer is not just saying it doesn't exist and we don't need any of the things we tried to do.
I said there is some level of racial discrimination that probably exists. Continues
No,
to.
but you said,
but at a
but
certain
you also
point, we
said
should just
you
effectively
want,
leave it to
right.
the market to solve.
Yes. And so that I think that was what he was saying, is that there's always going to be discrimination, but at a certain level, you leave it to the market to decide. If we're saying it is okay that you own a bakery, and if a black person walks in, or a woman walks in, or a Muslim walks in, that you take an egg and you throw it at them, and that's totally cool. Even if you did that, guess who's not going to make a lot of money? The bakery that throws eggs at customers. How are you the business mogul? I'm fucking broke. You're a fucking billionaire. How am I better at this than you?
Hey, what?
God damn it again.
Tried to do.
I said there is some level of racial discrimination that probably exists. Continues
No,
to.
but you said,
but at a
but
certain
you also
point, we
said
should just
you
effectively
want,
leave it to
right.
the market to
So now it's arguing. No.
solve.
Right. Well, at a certain point, where's that certain point?
I think we're there.
I don't believe we're at that certain.
I think we're there.
You do. I don't. Right. That's what makes.
Okay, so let's talk about why this would be the right point or would not be the right point. That is a worthy conversation. But no. Are we in third grade? Are we in third grade?
A market, right? Yeah. But the challenge is, but when you're saying, let's just extract government out, if you have a better solution.
Yeah.
That is the better solution. What the fuck do you mean? What do you mean? That is a pretty radical solution. I will admit. If you say, hey, whoa, that's too much. Okay, fine. That's a reasonable position. But to say we need to slash 80% of the government, well, I mean, if you have a better idea, that is the idea. What do you mean?
Let's just extract government out. If you have a better solution,
yeah, that's
one thing. Just open it up to the market, because there are in the workforce, 77% of the workforce is white. 90+% of investment is with white people, towards white people.
Why is this relevant to your bottom line? Why is this relevant to your bottom line?
Right. And so if you just leave it to the market, I'm not saying there's no chance it works, but I'm saying there's a good chance it won't work.
Yeah. Then it doesn't work. Then we don't live in utopia. That some people don't live exactly as they want to live. And guess what, Mark? No matter how many DEI, ESG, woke bullshit things you enact, you will never get rid of discrimination. You will never get rid of racism or sexism or homophobia and transphobia or any of these things. There will always be discrimination because some things deserve to be discriminated against. And some people are just bad. Some people are just mean. Some people are just racist. So this lofty, noble goal of living in utopia, yeah, is nice. But some of us have to live in reality. Some of us can't pay to keep reality far enough away from us that we can just talk bullshit and think that we're right. Some of us have to live in the real world.
There's no chance it works, but I'm saying there's a good chance it won't work.
Yeah, and
because
here's what
the
I see
dynamics
happening.
of all the
I think we're actually seeing, and it's maybe another area of common ground in a certain sense, but for different reasons. I think we're actually seeing, weirdly, an uptick in anti-Black,
racism,
anti-minority, and also anti-white racism in a lot of different directions that I would have never imagined even 20 years ago, right? Back when if I was even rewinding to 2007, when I was reading about your old company sale and I was graduating from college, if you told me in the year 2024
that somebody would come on my podcast and say, I love everything that you say, but I can't vote for you because you're an Indian, then I would tell you are crazy. As would I, the Indian Jesus. But here we are. It fucking happened. So this DEI is clearly not working because in the 90s, I don't think these issues were really so prevalent. Context said 77% is white. Oh, so then that proves white people like to work. Maybe that means you hire the people that like to work.
How dare you?
Ban him. Ban this racist.
we would be seeing an uptick in the level of racial animus in the country that we have now. I would have said that was crazy back then.
Whoa. If you're white, blonde hair, blue eyes, then you already have everything. You're already at the top of the hierarchy, according to people like Mark Cuban. You're better than everybody else. And everybody else is worse and lower and lesser than you. So we need to help those people. In fact, you need to help those people because you, as a white person, are superior to me as a brown person, to Vivek as an Indian American, as to any black person. You are superior. So why do you get the money? No, give me the money. Oh, wait, you already do. See how that works? Shout out to Melted Mind Media. Welcome to the party. Cancel them. FMG, appropriating funk. That's only for blacks. I wish it was easier to demonstrate like how ridiculous stuff like this is when it's used in a realistic manner. It's like, it doesn't make sense, but you just accept it in a certain context. Dogmatically. TV viewerskis, that's what I'm saying. We need to elect a black president. It's problem fixed. Yeah, you're right. Sizemore said, well, I'm superior. We are all fucked. That's what Mark thinks.
In the country that we have now, I would have said that was crazy back then. But I think part of the reason we're seeing it is heightened race consciousness and the feeling that you have a system that's taking something away from you on the basis of your skin color. There's no better way to throw kerosene on the final burning embers of racism.
And where do you think that kerosene is coming from?
I think it's largely
from people like you, Mark.
Coming from a lot of these maybe even well-intended government policies. The idea that you can't be a government contractor.
No, the government just wants what's best for us. I can't even listen to the notion that the government would be doing something that's not good for us. What do you mean? The government policies are doing not good things for America? Nah, come on, man. You're talking crazy now.
Final burning embers of racism.
And where do you think that kerosene is coming from?
I think it's largely coming from a lot of these maybe even well-intended government policies. The idea that you can't be a government contractor unless you're paying by these rules.
What has changed? What has changed dramatically over the past 5-6 years?
DEI, ESG, Obama.
Over the past 5-6 years, 5-6
years. DEI, ESG.
Economically, you want to think about a lot of disparity.
The scale of social media.
Yes,
the scale of social media. Right. That's where it's easy because, again, when you have tens of millions of people now able to come on and particularly lately over the last 2 years, say exactly what they want to say without restriction for the most part, it's really easy for all the people who are disaffected to come together.
Hashtag the Twitter files. When you can say whatever you want.
What? No,
you can say whatever you want. Shout out to Ayush Gupta in the building. Welcome to the party. So it's not race in and of itself to believe that that races other than white can't make it in life without being provided doles and government policies. Yes, Mark Cuban is a racist. He has demonstrated that time and time again in the last 55 minutes of him speaking. It's sad. For sure. People say exactly what they're told to say. Yep.
For the most part.
Without restriction. Yeah, let's say that.
Say exactly what they want. Now able to come on and particularly lately over the last 2 years, say exactly what they want to say.
So you've been able to say anything that you want about COVID. You've been able to say anything you want about the election. You've been able to say anything you want about the vaccine, right? Just like mostly.
Say without restriction for the most part. It's really easy for all the people who are disaffected to come together. Right. And when they come together, it's easy.
Isn't that a good? I mean,
no, I'm not saying. I'm just saying it's a reality.
There's a lot of things I think of social media wrong.
It's just a reality.
It's a good thing, right? It brings us together.
Yeah, I just see it as a reality. I'm not trying to shut anybody up, and you'll never see me try to cancel somebody. I think that's the worst from either side, right? I've never and would never try to cancel anybody, but
if they're not getting those ROE scores, then they got to be fired. I mean, them's the rules, right?
Right. The reality is that we can't presume, given all the hate that is evident to us on social media, you can't presume that there isn't a need for beyond just the marketplace.
Why? If his question is not why, then that is a huge failure.
Mm-hmm. That is my point, right? It is so evident, this increase in hate.
Why?
Now, I understand the perspective. I read Rufo's book, right, about decentralized support and all that. And I understand the perspective that, okay, if we took the federal government out of it and we took DEI and the woke ideology out of it, and we moved a lot of the problem solving, if you will, the power to, on a decentralized basis, the local school boards, et cetera, it's all going to change, which I think is horseshit, right? Because there's just too much hate. And the only, in my mind, even though it's not perfect, we have to just accept the fact that we are not in a colorblind society.
Crypto pumper Mark Cuban refuses virtual interview. Am I still? Yeah, virtual interview unless host agrees to get vaccinated and promote the vaccine as well. Can't now. I'm trying. No problems. Hey, Mark. Hope things are a little calm for you. Still calling you. When you get vaccinated and tell others to do the same, I will come on.
Loser. Beta. Gay.
What are we doing? Who are you? Who are you? Like, the establishment gets me money, so the establishment must be right. Makes sense why you would think that, but you're stupid.
We have to just accept the fact that we are not in a colorblind society, and being colorblind isn't necessarily a good thing. We have to respect.
I respectfully disagree on that, but I hear your point.
Right.
I was laughing at on TV. What did he say?
We are blind society.
Wait.
To just accept the fact that we are not in a colorblind society.
Agreed.
And being colorblind isn't necessarily a good thing.
Disagree.
We have to respect.
I respectfully disagree.
I think we need to be colorblind before we move to the place where he wants us to be systemically understanding. You can't see the differences that people experience if you don't see people as equals, as Mark clearly doesn't see. He clearly sees minorities and women as lesser than white men. And so you cannot get to the individual things that people experience that you need to account for, that you want to account for. You cannot get there before you see them as equals. And clearly, you don't see them as equals. You see yourself as superior and them needing your help. They can't do it alone. Says you fucking racist.
Being colorblind isn't necessarily.
And here's the other thing. This goes back to what I was talking about yesterday about being in a goofy cult. I can already hear comments. Oh, you're gonna call somebody racist just because of you're now acting just like the woke. No. See, wokies call everything racist that is not racist. I just call something racist when it's racist.
A good thing. We have to respect.
I respectfully disagree on that, but I hear your point.
Right, because people, I made a mistake in one of my companies, the Mavs actually, and I used to think that treating people equally meant treating them the same. So that just means you don't understand
treating equality doesn't mean treating everybody the same. That's equity. So you're acknowledging right now in this sentence that equality is better than equity. You are saying in this sentence that you have yet to finish that I made a mistake by going through equity, but you're confused as to the difference between equality of opportunity and equality of outcome. Nobody said seeing everybody as equal under the law means everybody is exactly the same. If you thought that, then you were just wrong. And that's okay. You're allowed to be wrong. But you're still wrong. You're just wrong again. You have not Mark Cuban, who will save the poor black people, the women, the immigrants, the illegals. How will they ever do anything in life without Mark Cuban? Listen to this sentence again. I don't get. Again, do not let me forget to look at the comments.
But I hear you.
I made a mistake in one of my companies, the Mavs, actually. And I used to think that
The basketball team. So black, majority black on that team, I'm going to assume? Or was it diverse? Was there representation for women and black people? Was there, white people? Was there a representation for immigrants on the Mavs while you were the main dude? Probably not, though, right? Probably not. The diversity doesn't matter there. All you care about is the bottom line, as you should.
well, I made a mistake in one of my companies, the Mavs, actually. And I used to think that treating people equally meant treating them the same. That if there was a woman, a man, black, white, orange, yellow, all the rules, everything had to be exactly the same. And then
that just means you were wrong. That doesn't mean equality is bad. That just means you don't know how to treat people as their own person. That's it.
I had some people getting harassed because I wasn't paying attention to how everybody was being treated. Because saying something to a man versus saying something to a woman can have two different meanings, and I didn't know this stuff was going on, right?
That means you're stupid. That means you're stupid. You didn't know? You're telling me that you didn't know that men and women are different? It's almost like telling everybody that men and women are not different creates problems in the workplace. It's almost like we should treat people equally, which doesn't mean exactly the same. Of course, we know. I mean, at this point, it's just. I'm trying to hold it together, to just get to the end of this.
Versus saying something to a woman can have two different meanings, and I didn't know this stuff was going on, right? I was just treat everybody the same, treat them fairly. That's just not the way.
That's not the same thing. Treating somebody fairly and treating somebody exactly the same is not the same thing. You still don't get it. You still don't get it. Yet you're here lecturing the brown guy.
So I was just treat everybody the same, treat them fairly. That's just not the way life is. You don't want to be, you want your vegetarian and family background to be respected, right? But if there's a lot of people here.
Right. So everybody wants their background and their family respected. But that manifests differently. But we all have the equal opportunity to have our background be respected, Mark. That's how equality works. Is this, I mean, I'm, as said by Vivek, as said by Sizemore, is this a white people thing? Is this a white people thing? Because it's starting to look like white people are just stupid. And I don't think that's the case. But he wants to, make it so that everybody that looks the same is the same. And if I'm said, I don't care if you respect my family or my background, just leave me alone and I will leave you alone. I mean, yeah, that's a good point as well. But I mean, I think the actual point is that he's saying that nobody wants their background or family disrespected. I think that's a fair interpretation of that. But yeah, I don't think anybody wants their family disrespected. But the way to, like, because families and backgrounds are different, then treating everybody the same is not going to help the problem of having their family and background respected. You fucking moron. Ah, TV Viersky said it's a rich white people thing. Okay, fair enough. I said, I don't know, I'm black. I said, shit, me too.
Family background to be respected, right? But if there's a lot of people here in this country that said red meat and beer, right? If you don't eat red meat, there's something wrong with you.
See, I don't really. And then, see, to me, Mark, that country is not the America I know. I mean, look, my view is, you want to eat Texas. You want to eat red meat? Go. I mean, use a free.
You think he hasn't? Wait. You think Vivek has never been to Texas?
Absolutely. You're open-minded.
I'll fight for your right to. But the reality is,
you're open-minded. But they're
and you're not, Mark. For you to think that's the response. That's the response. You go, well, wow, you're so open-minded. No, Mark, you're just closed-minded. I cannot believe that Mark let him air this. I cannot believe that he went through this and he was like, yep, that I want the world to see that. That is I'm speechless.
You're open-minded.
I'll fight for your right to. But the reality
you're
is,
open-minded, but there are a lot of people aren't.
So here's my point, Mark, is I think we're actually weirdly getting
a conniption?
A little bit more of an uptick of that precisely because of the obsession.
No, I understand what you're saying, right? But there's no obsession. So
there's no obsession. There's no obsession with race or DEI or ESG. That's just made up. That's just made up. Just like all the other things they told you were made up, that then they said, actually, that does exist. If you don't like it, you're a racist.
This is what I think you did.
In the UK.
I think you did a lot of this. I'm seeing all this.
Come on, Vivek. This is where we need you to get into another gear. This is where we need you to get into another gear. This is showing me that, like, I get that, you know, you want to have the civil conversation. I get that. But this man is disrespecting you in your own fucking home. If you want to be the person that comes after Trump, then you need to nut the fuck up. You need to nut the fuck up. Because this is some beta shit. I'm sorry. I really respect Vivek, but this is some beta shit. Stand up for yourself. This white man is talking down to you, interrupting you on your own platform, and you're just letting it happen. That's some beta shit. Nut the fuck up.
This is what I think you did.
In the UK.
I think you did a lot of this. I'm seeing all the shit that's going on.
I mean, a lot of.
Oh, he sees all the shit that's going on.
This is a little bit reactionary response where you tell people to shut up, sit down, apologize for who you are. You actually create more hatred in response that otherwise would not have existed. And that's what I'm worried is happening in this country.
I see what's going on in the UK, and we'll see what happens there. And a lot of that is social media driven. A lot of that is from the politicians.
What on social media? Driven by what on social media? Just dances on TikTok? Or people saying the exact same fucking shit that you're saying on social media? Like you are saying right now on social media. You are social media right now. How do you not see this? Context says, I was actually thinking the same thing. I just really want to see Vivek finally tell him to shut the fuck up for a minute and listen. Nut up.
A lot of that is social media driven. A lot of that is from the politicians who are pushing those lines saying, hey, they're taking.
Because you just spent the last 58 minutes and 30 seconds saying exactly all of the things that are being said.
Taken it from you. And it's really geared towards immigration more than anything else. It's not so much white or black, green or yellow. It's immigration, who belongs and who doesn't belong. My understanding.
Yeah, no, I think that's.
Well, that's a big part of it too. But I mean, were you not paying attention to like the black jobs thing, the DEI pilots, all that kind of stuff? And Phil said, try saying something anti-illegal immigrant in the UK and go directly to jail. Do not pass go. be an illegal immigrant and rape a 12-year-old, and you might do some community service.
But it's a different issue. It's not about race. It's about immigration.
Right, yeah. No. The key word is illegal. The key word is illegal.
My understanding.
Yeah, no, I think it's a different issue. It's not about race. It's about immigration. Right. But yes, when you have
but see what I see happening,
hatred, we tell people they can't talk about or publicly complain about that. It spills over in ways that actually are really harmful.
One of the reasons I go on Twitter and I love to fight back with people, right? Not troll, but actually try to have.
I know that you were coming at me hard during my presidential campaign. You roasted me a couple.
Right. Well, right, because what I see happening is
you're getting swept up by all this propaganda and you're just repeating talking points. I guarantee you he's going to say something like that.
There's a lot of people who create this woke machine, that say there's this woke machine that's taking over everything and ruining everything.
I told you. What did I tell you? Didn't I tell you? 'Cause I told
it's almost like you can read these people's minds when they say one thing. It's like, oh, you just listen to that.
A lot of people who create this woke machine, that say there's this woke machine that's taking over everything and ruining everything.
Put a chicken in, make it gay. Yeah, no, that's just made up.
But there's no, when they say who, like in Rufo's book, it's like going back to the Black Panthers and, then.
That's the second time he's brought up the Black Panthers in a negative light.
And they taught in the college, and then this professor came over from France and he taught, and then all these people went to Ivy League schools. I've never, in Royvent, did you ever feel woke pressure?
So
he wrote a book called Woke Inc. I don't know if you want to set him up like that, but
your current president, did you ever feel woke
for the first 6 years of running the company? No. Out in the wake of what happened after BLM and BLM's rise after George Floyd's death, actually, there was a moment. I think a lot of CEOs felt a lot of pressure across the country, and so did I, to sign.
Didn't go how you wanted to. It's almost like you didn't understand other people's other people's perspective, and we completely understand where you're coming from and disagree, but you disagree just because you don't understand.
Actually, there was a moment. I think a lot of CEOs felt a lot of pressure across the country, and so did I, to sign on to, every CEO, you remember that, wrote a public declaration. I didn't want to make that declaration. And the truth is I did, like every biotech CEO, feel some pressure to do it. That was a unique moment, but
so that's one moment in time when we're trying to, because we didn't have any leadership in the White House who could potentially diffuse those types of riots and those types of protests, right? More people died.
It was a hypercharged environment with lockdowns across the country.
We're going to talk about riots. You really want to talk about riots? Okay.
Right, of course. It was difficult, and that's where leadership needs to shine, and there was no leadership.
You have a few minutes. You want to change the channel? We didn't actually even get to politics, but we got to do at least a little bit. All right.
Sure.
Yeah, at least a little bit. And this is too much fun. Yeah. Just give me 1 second, make sure I'm good here too, because this is actually fun.
You know what? And I'm just gonna say, views, you need to do better. You need to do better. Look how much fucking juice is in there. You can see the light. Lights up green when it's pulling. Nothing. This is 70% full. 70% fucking full. I hate everyone. One thing said, mirror on the wall. You fucking woke, and I already know what you're gonna say, bitch.
Let's see here. Oh, man. Okay. I've got to go. I got 10 minutes, but we have to continue this. All right. I'm having fun with this. So, because you don't, this is the thing I miss actually in the country.
This is just nicotine. I just want my fucking nicotine. I've rolled up for later, of course. But right now, I just want my nicotine.
Don't get people talking across the silos anymore. Not in an earnest way, in a way that's public, in a way that actually tells people it's okay to be friends with somebody who you deeply disagree with. I think we need more of that.
But I've convinced you to change your position, right?
No, you have not. But
why would you think that? What? Maybe that was a joke. Maybe it was a joke. Let's give him maybe it was a joke.
I think we need more of that.
But I've convinced you to change your position, right?
No, you have not. But you have convinced me. But you've convinced me that we actually share more premises in common than I thought. Right?
Yeah, I'm a capitalist.
Exactly. We can start there. We have that in common no matter what.
I'm just a little bit more compassionate than some others.
Yeah, but I think that.
Please let this be a joke. Please don't let this be a joke. Please. Please. Oh God, oh God, oh God, oh God. Where are we? Where are we? Oh God, oh God. Had a great convo with my new BFF, Vivek Ramaswamy. I think I may have gotten him to vote for Kamala Harris. You have to listen to the whole thing to find out. We are watching it live on my channel right now. You are a dumb racist who needs to learn to listen and when to let your lips stop flapping. Come on, really? All right. I feel better. I feel better. I feel better. Okay. I feel better. I feel better. Comtech said, speaking of rolled up, Ohio just got a recreational marijuana pass. Hey, Dilly to that. Welcome to the future, baby. Welcome to the future. Welcome to the future. Yeah. Yep. Rick doesn't vote for Kamala because he's still mating Indian. Yep. Too high on his Kool-Aid, indeed. I was thinking of be hitting up the dispensary soon. It's been a while, so I'm honestly a little anxious. Start slow so that you can enjoy the process. If you go in too hard at first, then you're going to be one of those people that like, oh yeah, I know how to do this. You're going to eat an edible because you're like, oh, just take a little gummy. It's only 5 milligrams, right? And they're like, bro, that was 50. You're like, oh no! And then you're gone for 3 days, and then you don't want to smoke anymore. Start slow. 5. If you have not smoked in 6 months, if you have not smoked in, let's say, if you have not smoked in 3 months, if you've not ingested THC in 3 months, then 5 milligrams is plenty to start. I suggest to have especially if you're jumping back into this for, again, over 3 months. Over 3 months, your body is in a different realm. So start small, understand that percentage and milligram and all that stuff. Flower, vape, extract, and edible, they are all going to have a different effect. 5 milligrams of edible, 5 milligrams of this. It's not all 5 milligrams. I mean, it is all 5 milligrams, but it's not all the same feeling. So start with 5 because that's pretty much as low as you're going to go. You probably, if you've smoked before, won't feel too much, and that's okay. You'll be like, oh, next time I'm going to get even higher. Just like when you first started smoking, until you're at the place where people like me, where it's like, I don't even really get high. I just kind of get like a mood stabilization from it. So, I mean, some on the Indian ladder up behind it. I don't think that's true, but 1,200 migs. Yeah. Yeah. So start small. Don't. I mean, we need more people who smoke weed in this world, for sure. But I mean, hey, if you know anybody who has been smoking for a minute, see what's good with the gray market. I still use the gray market. It is way better. Legal weed in Ohio and Cory Bush got beat too. Not a bad week. All right, so let's finish this up, guys. We are past the 3-hour mark, but
I'm just a little bit more compassionate than some others.
But. Yeah, but you know, I think that.
But anyways, let's get to politics.
Yeah, let's get to politics. The only thing is, assume the best when you can of somebody who you disagree with too, because it may be a compassion for a different thing, And
No, I
you know,
understand.
assume the best is all I'd ask, even to some of the folks you're talking about. Politics here. All right. So here's what I find funny. Okay. For years, and you consider yourself voting Democrat in recent years, or you're Democrat?
No, I'm
No,
independent.
you're
I'm independent.
Okay.
And honestly, if
Okay, but who did you vote for?
there was a non-MAGA, when Biden was the candidate, if there was a non-MAGA Republican candidate, I probably would have voted for that
Okay.
person.
So, and it just maybe to you depends on, I would like to
So I would have been like, okay, so would you have voted for me?
convince you on this another day. It depends on how you define MAGA, right? Making America great. I don't think you object to that. In fact, I think you believe some of the things.
Well,
you
that's
just talked about
presumption.
here.
That's presumption that it wasn't great before. I'm an American exceptionalist.
I'm
too,
an American exceptionalist too. I think we need to make America greater than it has ever been. That's actually should be the goal.
Well, that's not what they said, right?
Make
That's not
America
what it-
greater
anyway.
than it.
Oh, so what are they? So that's not what they said when they said from the river to the sea. But we understand that kids on American college campuses are not saying to kill all the Jews, right? According to you. Well, that's not what they said.
There's ever been before. So here's the funny thing. Here's the funny thing on the politics of this, because I know you're on the other side of this. You're supporting Kamala Harris for president, right?
Correct.
Okay. I'm supporting Donald Trump for president. But here's an interesting before we get into the side tizzy that'll send political discussion into. For years, right? For years, the concern of many earnest Democrats in this country was that the Republican Party was oppressive on issues like abortion, was thoughtless on issues like gun control, believed in leaving the working class behind, was
All things I believed until about 2016, 2017, 2016, 2017. Some things all the way up until the Rittenhouse trial. All things that I believed. I mean, not all the way up until but from when I voted for Hillary, all the way up for years, I believed all this
aggressive on issues like abortion, was thoughtless on issues like gun control, believed in leaving the working class behind, was intervening in foreign wars in places like Iraq that expended our taxpayer money and left the country worse off. That was the real concern that people had, is the Republican Party was
for Democrats, yeah.
Yeah. Like they were ideologues, right? The Republican Party were ideologues on guns, abortion, foreign wars, and leaving the working class behind.
And again, I'm not a Democrat. I'm an
No, I know
independent.
you're not. I know. Fair enough. Well, now I know that. Now you mentioned that, right? But we can have the discussion either way. So it's not necessarily addressed at you, but we're talking about.
All right, I apologize, guys. I am an addict, so give me 3 seconds, and I'll be right back.
Rittenhouse, and they were talking to him, and they got some concessions, and they assured him that they would be better on 2A this time around. How is that not a win for everyone? How is that not a win for everyone? Kyle gets what he wants. We get better 2A rights. We, salute Ron Paul, and MAGA still wins. How is that a problem? No, you have to be right in line with me or you're bad. That's what the wokies do. That's what we've been fighting against for the last 10 years almost. I don't get it. And Nick said, don't be loyal to a party. That's why the left was able to get so far off the rails. Hold on to your convictions instead of an individual, or your convictions as an individual. And so, like, well, okay. So Nuclear said he did pledge to support Eagle, Trump. It's fine though. But is it not better? Is it not better that Trump now has a even small reason? But again, grains of sand make the heap. Is it not better that now Trump has a little bit more reason to be better on guns?
Okay.
How is that a bad thing? The only reason that is the case is because Kyle said, I'm not going with Trump because of this. That's how politics is supposed to work. That's how society is supposed to work.
That man is preaching. What a badass. All right, sorry about that. I need my vape.
And I'm not a Democrat. I'm an
No, I know
independent.
you're not.
Yes, you
Now I know that. Now you mentioned that,
are.
right? But we can have the discussion either way. So it's not necessarily addressed at you, but we're talking about this.
That's fine. No, I understand.
So now you get a candidate, and here's the thing that most people don't realize, who's actually not an ideologue, certainly on historical Republican terms
This is
at all.
true.
Not an ideologue at all in any sense, actually.
Why don't you just do it now? If Kamala's saying she will lower prices when she becomes president, is she not already in the White House? How about just do it now? How about just do it now? This is like, what's his face? Fucking Gavin only cleaning up San Francisco when Winnie the Pooh is in town. Maybe, if you just do the right thing and actually do what your people need, then you won't have to bullshit. Context said, do you think Mother Teresa, who's a fucking cunt, or Gandhi ever had to admit that she was more compassionate than some others? What? Let's take Mother Teresa, because Mother Teresa is a fucking cunt. So do you think Mother Teresa ever had to admit that she was more compassionate than some others? Yes, because she was letting people die and pretending that she wasn't letting people die. So Gandhi, I don't know. I heard he was raping bitches, but I that's not good for. But Mother Teresa was not a good person. Mother Teresa was the influencer of her day. She was all about, oh, I'm going to help the sick while I'm on camera. And from what I've heard, Gandhi was same type of dude. Baron Hassan Piker, let's go. All streamers have their own products nowadays. I think you should have a Vivek vape made in America by Indian hands. Why the fuck wouldn't I have a Luch vape? I'm not Vivek, but good idea. A lot, especially since I just ran upstairs and I'm like, can you hear it in my voice? I'm like, all right, let's jump into back to video and back into the video. Let me hit my vape, catch my breath, and we'll be back. All right.
Here's the thing that most people don't realize, who's actually not an ideologue, certainly on historical Republican terms at all. Not an ideologue at all in any sense, actually. Who on abortion is against a federal ban on abortion, is a little bit more pragmatic, you could say, is in certain other issues. On gun control is softer than some Second Amendment advocates, even myself in many cases, would advocate for. You have a foreign policy that is against fighting pointless foreign wars or intervention, a Republican who's publicly against that old Iraq war. And yet now the criticism of that candidate is that, oh, he's not principled enough, right? So from the Democrats.
Well, yeah, but let's talk about that. No.
Let's. This is the heart of all of the things that you got wrong today.
Mixing the principle that people are talking about. It's ethics. The man told Mike Pence not to certify the election
because he thought that y'all cheated.
The man called the governor.
And what happened from that? Did he break any laws doing that? Okay.
Secretary of State, or was it governor? I forget. And asked for 11,072 votes. The man has stolen.
Did he ask them to be fabricated, or similar to when I ask you, hey, can you find my keys? Am I asking you to fabricate car keys that will turn my car on? Or am I asking you to locate the keys that I know exist that I can't find in the moment? Stupid. Shout out to Zibby DSMLE. I don't know who's gonna eat. Where you at, Morty? Come get a treat. You want a treat? Nope. He's in the wobbly. I'm not feeling good. He is gonna puke tonight, but after that, he is gonna come eat these. Thank you so very, very much.
11,072 votes. The man has stolen from more hardworking Americans.
You were against Trump in 2016, though. You were against Trump in 2016.
Right, but he was unethical then, and he's still unethical.
And in 20, right?
That's right, but that's the whole point.
What is the whole point?
He started off supporting Donald, and then I got to know him better.
When did you support him?
Like 2015, I was like, he's great. He's he's not a typical Stepford candidate. I thought that was a positive.
And then
positive, right? A business guy who's pretty practical.
But then I got to know
not
him.
Ideological.
So everybody who knows Trump is like, wow, he's like really like a real guy. And like, yeah, he's a little eccentric, but he really cares. The man got shot in the fucking face. And his first thought after getting his shoes was to talk to us. But yeah, you don't care. You don't care. Kamala. Now that's a person who cares. That's a person who not only cares, but was democratically elected. What happened to being a threat to our democracy? It seems like that's kind of out the window, right? As Zippy said, Hans, get the I don't I don't know what this is from, but I'm assuming is this a Die Hard? Never seen that one either.
I think that's a positive, right? A business guy who's pretty practical,
but then I got to know
not
him.
ideological.
A big part of that is I didn't think he had a chance, and so I just wanted to kind of
be on the winning team, regardless of my values, because I'm gonna make money anyway.
Screw things up in traditional politics. I'm not a fan of.
Okay,
but the bigger
supportive. Okay, that's kind of funny.
Right. But the bigger point is Trump University, Trump Soho, stole $4 million from a friend of mine that had sued to get it back. Mike Pence,
Mike Pence is a fucking loser. He's a fucking cuck. I think we hate Mike Pence more than you do, Mark Cuban, because you don't know shit about shit. You just say the things that help you make more money. If you were honest about that, I'd be like, bet. But you're not. You're a liar. You're a fake. And as we've seen today, worst of all, you're a racist. And proud of it.
40 out of 44 people.
Just take a look at the 4 years, because each of these are just going to be separate sort of personal attack rabbit holes. Look at the country in those 4
they're
years.
not personal attack rabbit holes. They're legitimate things that actually happen.
So do you think the country, do you think the economy prospered and border crossing issues were far better under Donald Trump under those 4 years than they've been in the last 4 years?
What?
I misheard that, right? I misheard the question, right? There's no way he...
Or the things that actually happen.
So do you think the country, do you think the economy prospered and border crossing issues were far better under Donald Trump under those 4 years than they've been in the last 4 years? You disagree on that premise too.
This is the benefit of having fuck you money. You don't need to know shit. You don't need to care about shit. I think you're giving this man too much credit. I don't think these people don't need to care. These people don't need to care. Do you think, regardless of what Trump does, regardless of what Kamala does, put a 1 in the chat if you think Mark Cuban is going to be worried about where his dinner's coming from, is going to be worried about having enough money to feed his family. I don't think he's gaslighting. I think he's fucking stupid. Well, okay. He's not stupid. He's just very, 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 very ignorant and brainwashed on this. TV Viersky said, I think your sound could come up hot. Yeah, unfortunately, for whatever reason, this fucking computer has no audio output. So when you hear sounds, it comes out of here. It comes out of here and gets picked up in the microphone because there is no way, despite having all these different things, there is absolutely no way. I mean, I'm sure there's a way, but I'm not a computer guy. There is no way. I've tried every little thing to move every little thing to have it come through the system, and it just doesn't do it. I use them a lot, so it's kind of good that it's not as loud, because sometimes I could go a little crazy, but I wish one of these days, when I have enough money, because here's the thing, like all the people like in Discord 1,000,001 times, like Zippy, Melted My Media, Nick, you guys could all tell, Indie Film, Kelly Green for sure. We've spent hours trying to be like, okay, well, try this setting, okay, then try that setting, and try this setting, and I know that it's just like one thing where it's like, oh, you have to go to this driver and turn this on or something like that. But there's so much in a computer that I don't know, that like this is close enough that I'm like, okay, I got this close enough. I don't want to fuck with anything. And it's so frustrating because when I was running the entire show off my laptop that I use upstairs, plug and play, good, done. But sorry, little tangent. So we said, at least Bill Maher will look you in, look at you with his snake eyes, roll them, and then say yes and no at the same time. Is that good? Or is that bad? Well, my media said, have you seen the clips of big streams like Kia saying the Secret Service had been calling him nonstop to do a stream with Kamala? I have no idea who those people are. I am 34 years old. I do not keep up with this shit. Nick said, I think he thinks his shit don't stink. Yeah, I don't think that he's trying to pull one over on anybody. I think he's just in his in his thoughts, in his positions, and because he knows so much more about other people in this one area, then we see him thinking that he knows everything about everything. I'm not getting into it now. I'm not getting into now. Zibby said, the more I see a Bill these days, the more I see Bill gaslighting the left is subtle. Sickeningly, the Bill is gaslighting the left. The more I see Bill gaslighting the left in subtle sickening. There we go. Gotcha. Yeah. I mean, it's honestly, I know that there's one driver or one thing that is just like it's setting, and it just, I don't know what it is. It's close enough. You know, nobody's even mentioned it in the last 8 months. So it's if that's the worst part of my stream, I'm okay with that. All right, let's finish this up. We are almost at 3.5 hours, guys. How the fuck do we keep doing these long ass streams?
Than they've been the last 4 years. You disagree on that.
And guys, I swear to God, if nobody's in the after party and then somebody complains about there not being an after party, I don't know what I'm gonna do. What do we got for Melton? I got them. Oh, I can't full screen because fuck YouTube Shorts. But oh no, come on, baby. Shout out to Zippy. Oh no, it's not gonna give it to me.
Secret Service calling me 5 times. What the fuck am I supposed to talk about on screen about politics? I haven't spoken to this girl in so goddamn long. Who gonna have the audacity to text me?
Is this music gonna get claimed?
We need you a part of the campaign. I was thinking she was talking about like a game, a video game. If not that, a clothing brand. I got the Secret Service calling me.
What? What are we? What? What does that have to do with anything?
So do you think the country, do you think the economy prospered and border crossing issues were far better under Donald Trump under those 4 years than they've been in the last 4 years? You disagree on that premise?
No, because if you look at border crossings, what was Obama's nickname? The deporter in chief. If you look at actual crossings, they were lower under Obama. And when Obama came in, they were higher, and he continued to lower them until the last couple months.
And then
on the economy, Obama took.
Oh, so you're just going to stop there? You're just going to stop at Obama when we're talking about Trump and Biden? You're going to stop at Obama? What happened after Obama when Trump was in office? And then what happened when Trump left office and Biden came in? Things got way better. The economy is soaring. Again, I think maybe he really doesn't know. I think he really doesn't know. Yeah, I know that it's, and I bet you could fix it. I bet you could fix it in 10 minutes. But it's just, I need, like, in order to do that, I need to pay somebody to come out here, and it's just not worth it.
Were higher, and he continued to lower them until the last couple months.
And then
on the economy, Obama took a fucked up economy and improved it, and Trump inherited that, right? And actually, inflation grew by 25% under Trump over Obama.
It's always. Whenever we talk about the economy, always a bad economy is, because the last president did it. When it's a good economy, look how good the economy is. Bidenomics is doing great. But wouldn't that mean that Biden only inherited a good thing from Trump and then destroyed it, which is reality? I don't get it. What do you think? I mean, we got what about 10 minutes here left. So yeah. So I mean, I'm not worried about you being in the voice chat. Like, I know you're gonna jump. You're gonna jump in.
Right. And actually, inflation grew by 25% under Trump over Obama. And what was the third one?
You get border and economies, where I started talking about.
Right.
So, look, we hit the all-time low on border crossings in about 2019, 2020. Okay.
Are you sure about that?
Yup. Are you not sure about that? How are you not sure about that?
Are you sure?
It's actually the chart that Trump was turning to.
Exactly. Yes. The chart that saved that man's life is very, very clear.
shot, right? That was
Right,
exactly
but that
the Ron
doesn't make it
Johnson
right.
shot. Yes, it went up, in
right.
the first 2 years, but then it actually, they only implemented the Trump controls about a year and a half to 2 years.
Let's just put that off to the side, and we'll check that to make sure that border crossings weren't lower under him.
The lowest point was lower than it's ever been. The lowest, I'm not saying the average, but the lowest points was lowest than it's ever been. Yeah.
Okay, we'll check. But Obama
we'll check. We'll check. We already did check. This is what we do, Mark.
deported a multiple of the number of illegals that Trump deported.
Which you're in favor of, by the way? Are you in favor of deportation?
I don't.
Yeah, right. Are you saying that's a good thing? We don't need to deport so many people if we don't let them in the first place, you fucking moron.
Yeah, I don't have a problem if they're here illegally. Just do it compassionately. Don't just stick them in a cage. But I have no.
As opposed to what? Do what? What is your solution then? What is your solution? You have no problem sticking Americans in cages when they commit crimes.
No problem with removing people who are here illegal, particularly recent. You got it because who knows the number? 10 million, 11 million, whatever.
We don't know because the Biden administration let it be a literal open border.
Whatever it is, but you can't just all of a sudden. How you approach it is critical.
Agreed.
And Trump has not said a word about it yet.
Trump has not said a word about immigration. If only Trump said something about immigration.
And he's been talking about it forever.
So,
but
Make that make sense about anything. He hasn't said anything about it, and he's been talking about it forever. That's not how English works.
Critical, and Trump has not said a word about it yet. And he's been talking about it forever. But again, that's not the core issue. You want to talk about
lives. That is a core issue. I get that.
I get that. But you know what? The one certainty about the office of the president of the United States is the complete uncertainty. That you have no idea what comes next. Would you agree with that?
Yes.
Okay, sure.
Okay. And so in my mind, and I think a lot of people's minds that oppose Donald Trump is
don't know any better.
That you want somebody there that is educated on the world.
Like Kamala? Educated on the world like Kamala.
But more importantly, just is.
How do you not laugh at that?
Ethical, right? So that.
Ethical. The bitch who kept people in jail just to make them fight fires for $1 an hour. The bitch who fucking laughed about smoking weed but had the highest numbers of arresting people for weed. You fucking moron.
They make ethical decisions. You want somebody when there is no precedent, it's never happened before. You want somebody that has hired not people who are most loyal, like Tony Soprano might have done, but hired the very best people.
Well, again, even there, you're wrong about being wrong. That is one of the big issues with Trump is that he didn't hire the right people around him. I don't know how you have every step of this wrong.
And those people want to stay and work for him, not that they're loyal. You want somebody whose first inclination is not to do what's in their own best personal interest.
Why? If what's in their own best personal interest is also in the best personal interest of every fucking American, then why would I not want that? That's what I thought.
So can I just say,
you can't deny that's Donald Trump.
I agree. I cannot deny that Donald Trump is the one who wants to do what is best for America. You are right about that, Mark.
Reluctant to get into, because I'm not a particularly partisan hack type Republican versus Democrat.
This has nothing to do with partisan.
And so I'm all
defensive. No, me neither.
No. Very critical of the Republican Party. So I'm reluctant to say what I'm about to say. But when you think about this, right? You look at someone like Biden over the 4 years. I know it's Kamala Harris, the nominee now, but what is your attitude towards the fact that you talk about self-interest? Nothing bothers me more than politicians looking after their self-interest when they're in office. What is your perspective on, while Joe Biden's the vice president of the United States, his son serving without a qualification or an iota of a qualification?
10% for the big guy. Oh, that didn't happen.
On the board of a Ukrainian state-affiliated energy company.
That's ridiculous. That's ridiculous, right? It was a mistake. Yeah, but his son was an adult in his 40s, right? As a parent of, I can't control my teenagers. You're not going to control an adult.
But there's good.
Okay, then you shouldn't be the fucking president. Control your own kids. Clean up your room, as Jordan Peterson might say.
Evidence that he's even
because let's take a look at the Trump kids.
He's not looking the other way,
and he's going to jail. And that kid is going to jail.
He shouldn't.
And on top of
for
that,
felony gun possession charge.
No, I
not
get
for
that.
the actual,
But on top of that,
not for the actual offense.
you had Comer and others who tried to impeach Biden and did a complete investigation of it, and who came to the conclusion that there was no there in terms of the big guy, right? So, but let's just say it was completely investigated, and we haven't even gotten into the Mueller report, right, and what they came out with.
Yeah, but the Mogul report,
Jack
that's
Smith,
actually great to talk about, because that impeded the first 2 years of his presidency on the basis of
that's not the issue. Yeah,
that is the issue. That is you don't just get to say that's not the issue. That's not an argument.
When you're talking about policies,
the heart of this.
Yes.
Look,
I am concerned about policies. I'm deeply concerned. I have to admit.
No,
I'm not.
I don't care about policies. I just care about being on the right side of history.
I'm concerned. I'm not unconcerned about policies, right? But it's just like a CEO of a company. Would you hire somebody that has a long history of
winning? Fuck yes, I would. A long history of caring about Americans? Yes, the fuck I would. A long history of connecting with the people? Yes, the fuck I would.
Stealing from people,
See,
of being unethical.
I'll tell you,
would not.
So Kamala never stole from anybody. Kamala was never unethical.
And you know,
is Donald Trump a perfect person? No, he is not. Am I a
No,
perfect
we're not
person?
talking about
I'm not.
minimal
Are you a
imperfection.
perfect person?
No,
You're not.
no.
But we have to
We're
ask
not talking
ourselves,
about
who's the actual best
have you ever
president?
Cope harder.
Stolen money?
We have right now. I've never stolen money from anybody. No.
Either have I. Right? Have you ever had a company?
I have no evidence to say that.
I have. I was a drug addict for 5 years. I stole money. I bet you. I bet you. I bet you. I could get a larger percentage of the people who are aware of my existence to vote for, if it was the people who are aware of my existence and the people who are aware of Kamala's existence. If we had to vote, I guarantee you I'd get a higher percentage.
Have you ever? Oh, I do for sure. Ask Barbara Corcoran, right? You know, she had to sue to get her money back. Ask anybody.
Yeah, right. And like, let's ignore the fact that the Mueller report actually said you're good. Why are you bringing that up? How is that helping your point?
From Trump University. Ask people who bought condos in Trump Soho. Ask people from, Trump Foundation that gave money there. Ask people who are giving money today, and he's using that money for his legal fees.
Let's just do a little search here. Am I on this one? Okay, so has Mark? Okay, let me do this so I can fucking see. Of course. Mark Cuban ever been the defendant in a lawsuit? Oh, wow. Look at that. Look at that. One notable instance is in 2008 when the SEC filed a civil suit against him for alleged insider trading. I've never stolen money from anybody. You fucking lying cucksuck motherfucking bitch ass racist. In black and white, insider trading. Let me ask you, America, what do you care more about? Insider trading or paying off a porn star? That's what the fuck I thought. You hypocritical. I can't do this much longer. How much time we got? 6 minutes. Let's do it.
So this isn't like a little discretion. This is a habit.
Mark,
insider trading.
That's why I can't support him.
Yeah, so look, I think that's less about
he's exactly like me.
Politics and more about maybe like a criticism of one man. But
but that's the whole point.
So look,
you were talking about ethics. You would not. Have you ever told any of your employees to short pay a vendor?
No.
Just
have you ever traded on insider information
to try to save some money? Either have I. Right? What do you think about somebody who does that?
What do you think about somebody who does insider trading?
Crazy to me during the trial.
I think a lot of what's happened is, because you saw this in the New York trial. I don't know what your perspective is on the New York trial or how closely you followed that.
I guarantee you he did not follow shit about that.
I did.
I think that trial is fundamentally unjust against Donald Trump. Right? Do you agree with that?
Let's just say it is.
Do you agree with that?
I don't. No, not necessarily. Because
I think if you're in a position where if you say a prosecutor comes for you, right? Because you're a business guy, you can empathize with this, right? If you're running a company,
I've had the SEC come after me, so I get it.
But let's say you have a lawyer's bill that comes in and you classify it as a legal expense. All right, but part of this was you were paying off hush money to Stormy Daniels, And the government's theory of the case is no, you should have classified that as a campaign expenditure. Think about this. If you had to classify that as a campaign expenditure, had he said that's a campaign expense, so he uses the campaign account to be able to pay hush money to Stormy Daniels, they should be and would be coming after him for that, right? Because you shouldn't use political campaign.
But that's what he did. Which is what he did.
But he didn't do insider trading.
Paid money. He used the whole government's whole theory is he should have been using campaign money. He used personal money for it. So my point is, in a lot of these cases,
it was
they were
in
going to
kind.
get him
The whole
either
point
way,
was,
right?
Okay, so first of all,
again, Vivek, you're on a roll. When you're cooking, fucking cook. It's your show. It's your platform. I don't know what we're going to do. Because, again, a vote for Trump, or rather a victory for Trump is, I don't know what that is for a normal video. Oh, bet. Good looks. Let's add to Chrome. Thank you, Zippy. Coming through with that stuff. Yeah, I mean, it's sad because, again, if Trump wins, that's a good triage. That's a good triage. But if you're looking at Trump as, the savior of America, it ain't going to happen. It ain't going to happen. Not one person, no one person can do what we want to be done. It is on us. That is why I'm pushing so hard for you guys to join the Discord. Not even sign up as a member and come in the after party and be part of the watch parties and watch movies and all that stuff. I understand. Not everybody can do that. But come to the free platform where we can speak freely, understand each other, and go out into the world as better, more well-informed people. If this is the best he's got, and I'm not saying I think it is. I'm just saying if this is the best he's got, not going to work. Not going to work. It was convenient for him to be able to, kind of draft behind Trump's strength, because he was like the not mean Trump, but still, all the base policies. When Trump is out of the picture, Trump has changed the face of American politics. Being nice is weakness. Being cordial, being presidential,
beta.
Nut up.
In a lot of these cases,
no,
we're going to get him
the whole
either
point
way,
was,
right?
Okay, so first of all, Hillary Clinton did
And I just
something
worry a lot
similar,
of this has created distortion. My guy here is giving us like signs. We got to.
No,
I'm going to this magazine interview. This is fun. If you're down for doing this again and continuing, I would
Sure.
love it. Hey, do you know?
Sure.
This is random. Do you know Reid Hoffman or not? Not really.
Barely.
Okay.
A couple emails.
I
Yeah, a
actually
couple emails.
was interested in getting, because he also seems like a guy who more than you. I mean, I would really disagree with him, but he also seems like a smart guy, and he's come up.
Yeah,
a
he's a
couple of
smart guy.
times recently.
Okay, so I mean, yeah, I mean, holy moly, guacamole, Jesus Christ on a motorbike. That was disappointing on two levels. Vivek, you need to be stronger. You need to be stronger. And Mark Cuban is way gayer than I thought he was. Nick said Vivek is being too nice and letting this cuck walk all over him. Come on, Vivek, pull your balls back out, man. Exactly. So, I mean, I don't necessarily think that we have any grand, conclusions to take away from this, and not everything has to. But I'm very, very glad that I saw that, because now I know. No, you're wrong. I'm right. Kamala, Trump is so mean. Clip that. But I'm very glad that I have a better perspective on the things that I don't like about Vivek, because I want Vivek to be the best he can be. And if that means me making a lot of noise and potentially getting to somebody who can get to somebody who can get to somebody, that's saying, hey, the people, they love what you're saying, but that Trump energy that changed the entire landscape. That is what people need. That is what people want. That is what people are looking for these days. We need the new right. We don't want to just have the side quest with Trump and then go back to the old GOP with the rhinos and the neocons. I think he can do it. But he has to nut up. He has to nut up. All right. Well, thank you so very, very much for hanging out with me, guys. I really do appreciate. We just crossed 3.5 hours, 2 days in a row. If you are not subscribed to this channel, I don't know what the fuck else I gotta do. Hit that subscribe, ring the bell. Let's give a big shout out to all the members and donations. Guam Tech, Zippy, DSM Lee, our sponsor, the Funk Master General. Coming in mad times. We got our boy Indie Film. Guam Tech hitting the Venmo. Indie Film again. Joe Mama with the $10. And of course, Zippy holding it down over on Rumble. Guys, thank you. Thank you. Thank you so very, 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 very much. This is what I want to do. I think I can do this. I think I can be what this country needs. But just like Trump, I cannot do it alone. So those of you who are here on the regular, those of you who are in the chat, those of you who are donating, you guys are the ones that are going to make this real. And if you can't donate, that is perfectly fine. This is a free show. There is no cost to entry. But understanding that every time you chat, every time you hit the like button, every time you share it, every time you talk about it, every time you tweet the Indian Jesus, every single little thing that you do helps elevate this platform. Because if this is all we have, we're fucked. So if you want to be fucked, do nothing. If you want to do better, you know how to do it. Every Monday, Wednesday, Friday, 8 p.m. Eastern. Again, thank you so very much. Morty has not yet puked, but he will definitely puke. And when he does, I will have these ready for him. Thank you again, guys. I see you, a bunch of you in the after party, which I very much appreciate. I don't want to keep you waiting, so we're going to do it. So thank you once again. That has been Morty. I have been your host, Lutch, a.k.a. the Indian Jesus, here to resurrect the second coming of common sense. Until next time, guys, we are out of here. Peace.